All around the world, there are mysteries no one can explain. Giant stones moved without machines, temples polished smoother than my phone screen, and gates that seem to open to absolutely nowhere. These aren't fairy tales, they're real. Standing there for thousands of years, almost as if they're laughing at us, like, go ahead, figure me out, we'll wait. Some say aliens, some say lost civilizations, and some just say ancient people had way too much free time. But whatever the truth is, these wonders remain. Strange, silent, unsolved. So tonight, we wander through them together. The Forgotten Stones of Pumapunku. High in the thin air of the Bolivian highlands, where the wind drifts quietly across wide plains and the horizon stretches endlessly, there lies a place both silent and profound. A place where the earth holds secrets that seem too heavy to be lifted, too precise to be accidental, and too old to be forgotten. This place is called Pumapunku. It does not stand as a city with tall walls. It does not rise like a tower or shine like a temple. It rests instead as fragments of stone, scattered and waiting, lying across the earth like pieces of a puzzle that no one remembers how to solve. To walk among them is to walk inside a mystery, to step softly through the remains of something greater than memory. The stones themselves are what capture the heart. They are not small, not light, not easy to move. Many weigh more than 100 tons. They are blocks of red sandstone and gray andesite, quarried miles away, yet resting here in perfect alignment. Even broken, even weathered, they speak with a quiet authority. Their surfaces are polished smooth. Their corners are sharp. Their grooves are straight, exact, unwavering. Some stand in the shape of an H, repeating like symbols, each one nearly identical, as though stamped out by some lost technique. When placed together, they interlock. Not loosely, not crudely, but with a precision that suggests design, purpose, and care. Looking at them, you feel that they were not simply carved, but engineered. They whisper of knowledge, of skill, of methods beyond the tools we believe ancient people had. And yet, there they are. Not legends, not myths, but stones you can touch, stones you can measure, stones that exist under the open sky. The people who lived nearby, the Tiwanaku, are said to have built them. The Tiwanaku were skilled, creative, and powerful in their time. But no records remain of how these blocks were carved, how they were transported, or why they were shaped so precisely. There are no scrolls, no drawings, no stories passed down in full, only silence. And in that silence, the imagination begins to wander. Some say thousands of hands pulled ropes, dragging the blocks mile after mile. Some suggest rolling them across logs, but here, in the barren Altiplano, wood was scarce. Others imagine earth ramps, or stone sledges, or systems now forgotten. But still, the question lingers. Could ropes and wood alone bring 100-ton stones to rest here? Could simple hands lift them, align them, and place them so gently that even today no blade can slide between the joins? The stones do not answer. They only remain. They lie in fragments, as though something once stood complete but was later broken. Some say earthquakes toppled them. Some say time scattered them. Whatever the cause, what we see today are the remains of something that no longer stands. An unfinished temple, an observatory, or perhaps something entirely beyond our imagination. Stand before the H-blocks, and you notice the repetition. Each groove, each notch, cut as though part of a system. Some scholars believe they once formed a modular construction method, where each block could connect to another in endless combinations. Others suggest they were part of water channels, frames for structures, or supports for mechanisms long vanished. The designs are too exact to be purely decorative. They suggest function. But what function? That question remains unsolved. As you breathe the thin air and feel the silence of the plateau, you begin to sense the strangeness of Pumapunku. This was not random work. This was not chance. The builders knew what they were doing, yet their knowledge has been erased. Their tools are gone. Their plans have vanished. And only the stones, quiet and unmoving, continue to hold the questions. Imagine for a moment the effort it would take to quarry stone from miles away, to drag it across uneven ground, to raise it up, place it down, polish it smooth. Imagine the care, the patience, the vision required. Even today, with diamond blades and cranes, reproducing a single H-block takes time and advanced skill. And yet, here lie dozens, each one cut with the same mysterious mastery. Were they truly made with stone hammers and simple tools, as some suggest? Could patient hands alone shape grooves straighter than rulers, holes as round as machine drills? Or did the builders possess methods we have forgotten, techniques lost in the turning of centuries? The questions pile up like the blocks themselves, heavy, unanswered, unyielding. And at night, when the stars shine above the Andes, the mystery deepens. The sky is clear, the air thin, and the stones seem to glow under the starlight. You can almost feel a connection, as if the stones were not just of the earth but also of the heavens. Some believe Puma Punku may have been aligned to the stars, part of a larger design linking sky and ground. Others see in it the remnants of rituals, the traces of spiritual centers, the fragments of forgotten faith. But all we truly know is that the stones remain. They wait in silence. They endure through centuries of wind and rain. They hold their shapes, their lines, their impossibilities, and they invite us to wonder. Perhaps the builders were far more advanced than we give them credit for. Perhaps human patience and human intelligence are greater than we imagine, even without iron or machines. Perhaps they found ways, step by step, to do what seems impossible. Or perhaps, as some dreamers suggest, they were inheritors themselves, continuing a tradition handed down from even older builders, whose names and stories are lost completely. The possibilities stretch out like the plains themselves, wide and without end. And so, Puma Punku becomes more than just a ruin. It becomes a question carved into stone. It becomes a reminder that the past is not fully known, that history is full of silences, that there are chapters missing in the story of humanity. We do not need to solve it tonight. We do not need to lift the stones, or measure them, or answer their silence. We can simply rest among them, in thought, in imagination, in wonder. For mysteries are not always meant to be solved. Sometimes they are meant to be felt. Sometimes they are meant to remind us of how vast, how strange, how beautiful the unknown can be. And as you let your thoughts drift, as the rhythm of these stones carries you deeper into calmness, you feel their weight, not as a burden, but as a comfort. The stones have waited for centuries. They can wait longer still. And in their waiting, you too can rest. The forgotten stones of Puma Punku, silent, enduring, unexplained. The stone arches that should not exist. Touch the cool surface of one such arch. Your fingers feel stone that has endured wind and rain, frost and sun. The rock is dense. Your palm detects subtle irregularities softened by time. Yet the joints, the curves, the supports, they are precise. Even now, standing after centuries, the arch holds itself in tension, in balance. Look up at the sky through the opening of the arch. The edge of the stone frames light. There is nothing between you and the sky, but the arch becomes a window shaped by hands that knew geometry before machines, by people who understood curves and force, by artisans who shaped stone not with haste but with care. These arches are sometimes carved from the living rock of cliff faces, other times assembled from transported blocks, each cut to fit its neighbor with exacting care. In some places, enormous stones span wide gaps, balanced without central support. The span curves like a bow, and yet no scaffold remains, no tool, no record of how that span was built with such certainty. When craftsmen shaped these stones, they left no obvious tool marks for us to read, not the regular striations we expect from saws or the bite of metal chisels, but there are grooves, smooth faces and sharp edges. Corners conspire with light to cast tiny, perfect shadows. The precision suggests tools or techniques hidden from view, lost with time. How heavy must each block have been? Some weigh dozens of tons, some hundreds. Moving such mass without machinery seems nearly impossible. Over rough ground, across slopes, without animals trained to bear such loads. And yet here they are, assembled, fitted, enduring. Imagine people hauling these blocks. Ropes, sledges, rollers, wet earth to reduce friction, some sort of lever system, perhaps wooden beams. These possibilities still strain the imagination, but they are not outside the realm of human effort, and human effort, when driven by belief, ritual, or necessity, can do astonishing things. These arches are isolated. There are no nearby villages in many cases, no large settlements, no abundant remains of tools, no grand inscriptions. The stones themselves bear the story, the rest is silence. We must reconstruct not only what was done, but how, why, and for whom. Sometimes the arcs point toward light at certain times of day. Sunrise, sunset, solstice, shadows fall in patterns. Light slips through openings, casting shapes on stone walls beyond. Observers long ago may have watched the sky through these frames. Perhaps these arches were not only doorways of stone, but doorways of time, a way to measure seasons, to mark change. Sound often lingers in these arches. A voice spoken inside the curve echoes. A whisper travels further than expected. In some places, people who stand sandwiched between stones report uncanny resonance. The arch amplifies the breath. The wind hums through gaps. The stones sing, though softly. These acoustic properties may be accidental, yet the responses feel purposeful, as though built to listen as well as to stand. Weather carves slow changes. Wind scours surfaces. Rain seeps into joints, freezes, expands, contracts. Sun bleaches some faces. Lichen grows softly in cracks. Moss deepens color in shadows. Each season adds subtle wear. Yet where the craftsmanship was greatest, the stone resists decay more determinedly. It holds its lines, its forms. Some theories suggest that these arches were ceremonial gateways, thresholds between the mundane and the sacred, between earth and sky. Others believe they outlined processional routes where people walked in ritual. Still others propose they framed views, tied to astronomy, aligning with stars or planets, portions oriented toward rising suns, toward distant peaks, others toward valleys or sources of water. To build such things needed more than stonework. It required community, culture, ritual, a vision passed through hands and time, a value placed on alignment, light, sound, an idea that placing stone is not just shaping earth, but shaping experience. And so these arches are not only masonry, they are memory, marking human awareness of beauty, balance, cosmos. When you rest beneath one, you feel the weight of years overhead. But paradoxically, you also feel lightness, the opening frame sky. You sense wind, distance, horizon. You sense yourself small and part of something large. The stone's solidity becomes comfort, anchoring you in the slow scale of things beyond daily life. Perhaps there were techniques now lost, methods of quarrying, of transporting, of shaping hard stone with softer tools. Maybe heat played a role, or abrasive mixtures made with sand, plant matter, water. Maybe repeated polishing with harder rock, or long stages of finishing by touch. Perhaps measuring systems based on shadows or stars, ancient strings and plumb lines, sighting across piers of stones. Consider too that some stone arches may have been repurposed, moved, reassembled. Perhaps successive generations reused blocks, adjusted curves, adapted structures. What we see now may reflect layers of use, repair, redesign, each caretaker adding, shaping, preserving, but also erasing some original intent. In some places these arches align in rows, a sequence of frames stretching along ridgelines, step by step through light and shadow. Walking through them, one might feel a slow procession of thresholds, each one a pause, a moment of transition. The rhythm of stone and space becomes ritual. When dusk falls, the arches grow long shadows, the stones warm from the sunset, light softens, the edges lose harshness, the curves become more gentle in the fading glow. Sound changes. The wind, once sharp, now becomes a whisper, the air colder, breath slower. Your breathing slows too, lids grow heavier. The image of arches arches higher in your mind. The sky framed by stone becomes a picture you return to again and again. The details fade into loving memory. We may never know who shaped those arches, exactly how they managed weight and span, exactly which tools they used, exactly what they meant. What survives are questions in stone. What lingers are shapes balanced between earth and sky, tasks begun and tasks unfinished, hands long gone but work still speaking. So rest now, quietly, with stones overhead, sky above, arches framing silence. Let your thoughts drift like shadows across weathered stone. Let your breath follow the arc of light through the opening. Let the steady permanence of stone anchor you in calm. Let the mystery rock you like wind through a hollow. Let the weight of unanswered questions lull you deeper into rest. The stone arches that should not exist remain, silent, balanced, unfathomably real. Baalbek. Stones too heavy to move. Imagine standing before stones so massive that your mind slows, trying to hold their shape. They rise from the earth silently, heavy, eternal, as if the valley itself has laid them down with infinite care. Each block rests in place, seemingly simple, yet impossible to move by modern understanding. Some weigh hundreds of tons, some more, and yet they fit together with quiet precision. Corners aligned, surfaces smooth, edges meeting perfectly. You can almost feel the hands that shaped them, tracing every line, smoothing every flaw, slowly, over days, weeks, perhaps even lifetimes. Picture teams of people moving ropes, levers, and wooden beams. One tug, a pause, a breath. The stones inch forward over packed earth. The sun rises and sets, shadows stretching across polished surfaces. The rhythm of effort is hypnotic. The quiet hum of repeated labor fills the mind even from a distance. Imagine the sound of wooden beams groaning under weight, the creak of ropes pulling against stone. Hands brush surfaces, feeling imperfections, correcting them, polishing, checking again and again. Patient, deliberate, almost meditative. The quarry where the stones were freed is quiet now. No machines, no cranes, only wedges, levers, and patience. Blocks separated from bedrock, hauled across uneven ground, guided over obstacles, lowered carefully into foundations. Step by step, thoughtful, repeated, considered. Visualize the careful alignment. Small adjustments to settle massive stones perfectly. The joins are tight, a leaf cannot pass between them. The precision astounds. and yet it feels human, real, patient, alive with intention. Imagine walking along the foundations. Shadows stretch long in the late afternoon. Stones cool to the touch. Weight presses softly into your senses. Each block carries a story. Each surface whispers memory, rhythm of labor. Long past murmurs quietly, like a song just beyond remembering. Think of the people who built this place. They knew weight, balance, and patience. They understood that moving stone is not only physical but also careful thought, planning, measuring, adjusting, repeating. Their labor frozen in stone, silent yet speaking. The sheer size of the blocks slows the mind. Some are larger than houses. You can imagine teams hauling them, day after day, season after season. Ropes stretched across shoulders, levers groaning under mass. Each motion slow and deliberate, every step considered. Hands, feet, bodies moving together in unison. Now imagine the rhythm of a full project. Quarries cutting stones, workers transporting them, families feeding and supporting those who carry, generations passing knowledge along, teaching apprentices to observe, to measure, to repeat. Seasons of patience woven into the fabric of every block. Consider the placement of the stones. They sit in rows, in foundations, with the weight of thought behind every alignment. Some foundations support temples, some are ceremonial, some may have been practical, some may have carried cosmic meaning, marking the sun, the stars, or the passing of time. Imagine rituals, processions, gatherings paused along these blocks, shadows moving across polished surfaces, sun falling just so, highlighting edges. Imagine evenings in Baalbek. The air cools, stones grow darker, heavier, shadows stretch across surfaces. The hum of centuries presses softly into your mind. You can hear the faint echoes of activity long gone, voices calling a rhythm, the scrape of a lever against stone, water used to ease movement, hands rubbing surfaces to perfection. Think of the labor required to quarry, wedges placed carefully, levers used, stone separated without shattering, surfaces planed and polished, teams coordinating, passing knowledge, watching for flaws, then the long, careful transport, earth packed, ramps leveled, sledges guided across uneven ground. Every motion deliberate, measured. Imagine what it felt like to stand before a block weighing hundreds of tons, to place it with nothing but ingenuity, patience, and effort. Imagine generations learning, adjusting, perfecting. The rhythm of work stretching across time. The labor itself becomes a quiet meditation, a song of human patience, repeated day after day, until something immense and enduring emerges. Walk slowly along the foundations in your mind. Feel the smooth edges beneath your fingers. Imagine the small dimples where tools once pressed. Imagine hands, not just of builders, but of observers, of priests, of people who walked here for centuries. Shadows play across the stone, sunlight warms the surfaces, highlights the polished corners. Wind brushes softly, whispering across joints, carrying the scent of earth and stone. The stones endure. They anchor history, memory, and imagination. Heavy, silent, precise. They speak without words, reminding us to breathe slowly, to watch carefully, to feel the weight of time pressing softly into awareness. Picture the massive blocks in place, foundations laid, each stone carefully balanced. Think of the patience, the skill, the community that moved these stones, aligning them with care, making them endure. The rhythm of work stretches across your mind. Breathe in slowly. Imagine the harmony of hands, levers, ropes, and earth, all moving together in calm, quiet rhythm. Even now, as the sun sets, the stones rest. Their presence is patient, eternal, grounding. Imagine processions walking along the foundations, shadows sliding across polished surfaces, children playing at the edges, priests observing the sun's alignment. Everything slow, everything deliberate, nothing rushed. Now imagine the whisper of wind over the massive stones. It carries centuries with it, gentle and persistent. The weight of labor, the rhythm of generations, the patience of those who shaped, moved, and placed the blocks, all still present in the cool touch of stone. Feel the quiet, the stillness. Let your mind settle into the rhythm of thoughtless observation. Let the weight of the stones anchor your thoughts. Let your breath match the slow rhythm of centuries of labor. The builders may be long gone, their techniques may be lost, but the stones remain, smooth, heavy, perfectly placed. Speaking softly of patience, care, and dedication. Let your eyes rest on the imagined surfaces. Let your mind wander along the edges, over polished faces, into shadowed corners. Breathe slowly. Let the massive silent weight of Baalbek sink into your mind. The earth holds them, the air whispers over them, and you are part of this quiet observation now. The stones are patient. They wait. So can you. And as the night draws in, let your thoughts drift over the foundations, along the ramps, past the quarries, across the valley. The echoes of effort and care settle in your mind, smoothing rough thoughts, slowing your breath. Each block a reminder that patience endures, that careful work leaves a mark, that silence can speak more powerfully than any word. The stones are still. They do not hurry. They do not complain. They simply exist. And in their stillness, you can let go. Breathe with them. Feel the weight of time. Feel the gentle rhythm of generations. Let your mind float along the edges of the massive foundations, along the smooth faces, through the shadows. Let Baalbek stones hold you softly in their quiet, enduring presence. The Floating Stones of Kalahari. Imagine walking alone across the vast Kalahari desert, the sand stretching endlessly in every direction, golden in the morning light, pale and soft under your feet. The wind moves gently, whispering across the dunes, carrying the quiet sound of shifting sands, brushing past your ears like a distant lullaby. And there, scattered across the barren land, lie stones unlike any you have seen. They seem ordinary at first, but the more you look, the stranger they appear. Smooth, rounded, some unusually light, others impossibly heavy, yet each rests upon the desert floor in a way that seems almost unnatural, almost floating. You bend down to touch one. It is cool beneath your fingers, its surface strangely untouched by the sun, the wind, or the shifting sands around it. You lift it slightly, and it feels lighter than it should, as if the earth itself holds it up. You walk among these stones, noticing their subtle patterns. Some are arranged in lines, others in circles, carefully spaced, almost deliberate. But there are no signs of tools, no footprints, no markings that might hint at human involvement. It is as if the stones simply chose their positions. The desert seems silent, yet alive. Every gust of wind, every grain of sand brushing past, feels like a secret message. The stones have watched centuries pass, storms sweep over them, creatures wander among them, and yet they remain, unchanged, steadfast, quietly commanding attention. The sun rises higher, painting the desert in soft golds and reds, and the stones cast long, gentle shadows. You notice how some appear to glimmer faintly, as if the light itself bends around them. There is a sense of rhythm here, a natural order hidden in chaos, soothing to the mind. You sit beside one, letting the warmth of the sun seep into your skin, listening to the silence. In this place, time feels different. Moments stretch, and breathing slows. You feel a calmness that sinks into your chest, spreading outward, softening thoughts, slowing the pulse. As the day moves on, the desert heat rises, yet the stones remain a cool refuge. Their presence is grounding, almost meditative. You imagine the countless generations that have walked this land, perhaps wondering at these floating stones, perhaps ignoring them. They are patient, unmoving, mysterious, yet familiar in their quiet consistency. The wind rises again, carrying whispers of unknown origins, hinting at stories that may never be told. And in this soft hum of air and sand, the stones seem to speak, not with words, but with the stillness of endurance, with the silent message of time itself. The sun begins to descend, casting long, stretched shadows across the desert. The stones glow softly in the fading light. The colors shift from gold to orange to deep violet, and the air cools around you. You notice patterns in the stones you did not see before, lines that trace unseen paths, circles that form gentle symmetry, arrangements that feel intentional yet inscrutable. You lean back on the sand, letting your body sink into the gentle curves of the dunes, and you feel the weight of the world lifting slightly. The stones remain steady, unmoving, a quiet comfort in a world of endless motion. Night arrives slowly. Stars begin to appear one by one, their pale light scattered across the sky like droplets of water on black velvet. The desert grows cooler, quieter. The stones, steadfast and silent, seem to hum with their own rhythm, imperceptible but calming. You close your eyes briefly, letting the hush of the desert wash over you. The stones are ancient, older than the memory of any person, yet they are patient and serene, their presence a reminder that some things endure beyond understanding. The air grows crisp, carrying the faint scent of distant shrubs and dry earth. The stones, cold now under the night sky, anchor the landscape. You feel your own heartbeat slow, matching the rhythm of the stones, steady and unhurried. The desert is no longer empty, it is full of silent life, of quiet energy, of timeless presence. The stones hold space for thought, for rest, for the slow passage of consciousness. You imagine the wind rising briefly, whispering over the surfaces, nudging grains of sand against each other. The stones remain, indifferent to the passage of moments, patient in their calm, enduring beyond the cycles of sun and moon. Each stone seems to tell a story, though it is a story without words, a story carried in silence and stillness, in the gentle curves and flat faces, in the impossibly balanced forms resting upon the desert floor. The night deepens, shadows grow long and merge, stars shimmer faintly above. You breathe slowly, deeply, allowing your mind to drift along the contours of the stones, over the desert, under the endless sky. The stones are floating not in air, but in your imagination, lifting thought from worry and restlessness, carrying it across dunes and wind to distant places you cannot see but feel. And as the night stretches, you find yourself resting, quiet, calm, aligned with the rhythm of the desert and the patient presence of the floating stones. The air is cool, still, and safe. Your thoughts slow, then soften, then disappear entirely, leaving only awareness, breathing, and the quiet whisper of stones that have endured through centuries, through storms, through time itself. The Kalahari holds its secrets. The floating stones remain. You are part of their quiet world now, resting beside them, letting the calm wash through every thought, every breath, every heartbeat. And in this serene, gentle space, you drift deeper into sleep, carried by the patient, silent, enduring presence of the stones of the Kalahari Desert, the mirror-polished temples of Mahabalipuram. Imagine walking along the shores of the Bay of Bengal, where waves lap softly against the sand, and the horizon stretches endlessly, blending sea and sky. There, rising from the earth, are the temples of Mahabalipuram, carved entirely from stone, polished to a mirror-like sheen. The sunlight touches their surfaces and bounces off in soft reflections, like water frozen in time. Each temple seems alive, silent, yet speaking in a language older than words, inviting you to slow your pace, to notice every curve, every carved detail. You step closer. The stone is cool under your fingers, smooth as glass, each surface reflecting your own image back at you, but also something else, something ancient. The walls, the columns, the intricate reliefs, all tell stories of devotion, of artistry, of patience and precision, beyond imagining. The air is warm, tinged with salt from the sea, yet calm. The temples stand untouched by time, enduring centuries of wind, rain and sun, their polish a testament to care and skill. As you wander between the temples, notice the carvings, mythical creatures, gods, and scenes from ancient epics, etched with astonishing detail. Each face, each figure, seems alive, frozen in a moment of contemplation. The surfaces are so smooth that your hand slides easily over them, tracing shapes that have survived generations. Imagine the artisans who once worked here, hammering, chiseling, polishing, working day after day with incredible patience, each motion precise, deliberate. The sunlight shifts slowly across the temples, and shadows deepen the carved lines, highlighting details you may have missed. The rhythmic lap of waves mixes with the subtle echo of your footsteps on stone floors. You feel a calm sense of connection, not only to the structures themselves, but to the people who created them, to the culture that revered such artistry, to the centuries of history embedded in every polished surface. Walk along the corridors. Each step seems to slow your breath, your thoughts. The stone underfoot is smooth and cool. Columns rise like silent guardians, their mirrored surfaces reflecting light, creating a soft glow that seems almost unreal. The reliefs depict stories of devotion, battles, dances, gods and humans intertwined, all carved in meticulous detail. Notice how the stone captures every curve, every fold, every subtle movement, preserving it perfectly. Imagine the evenings here, when the sun dips toward the horizon. The temples glow softly, reflected in the calm waters nearby. Shadows stretch long, and the intricate carvings seem to whisper secrets of ancient rituals, of prayers offered, of chants that may have echoed across the stone corridors centuries ago. You feel a gentle hum in the air, a calm energy that is neither loud nor sudden, but constant, like the heartbeat of history itself. In the coolness of night, the air carries the faint scent of the sea and the warm stone. The polished surfaces reflect the stars, tiny points of light mirrored perfectly in stone. You lie back on a flat terrace, letting your body rest against the smooth stone, letting your mind drift along the carvings and polished columns. Each detail anchors you to the moment, slow and patient. Consider the craftsmanship required. Stone quarried, shaped, carved, and polished entirely by hand. There were no machines, no modern tools, only the dedication of skilled artisans. Imagine the hours spent perfecting every curve, every surface, polishing the stone until it glimmers like water under sunlight. This patience, this meticulous care, seems almost impossible, yet the temples endure as proof. Walk slowly through the temple complex in your mind. The polished surfaces reflect the subtle movements of the world, the wind, the clouds, the light. The details of the carvings seem to change as you move, as if they are alive, observing you, inviting you to linger longer. The rhythmic sound of distant waves, the soft hum of night insects, the gentle rustle of leaves from nearby trees, all merge into a calming symphony that slows your mind and relaxes your body. Imagine tracing your hand along a column. It is perfectly smooth. Your fingers slide over intricate carvings, feeling the depth of each line, each groove. You imagine the artisans long ago, their hands shaping stone with care and patience, each strike of a tool deliberate, measured, intentional. Their focus and persistence resonate across time, grounding you in the moment. The temples seem to breathe with the rhythm of the ocean nearby. Each polished surface mirrors light differently as the sun moves, casting soft glows and shadows that shift imperceptibly. You notice how the stone feels alive under your touch, how every polished wall seems to whisper ancient calm, encouraging you to slow, to notice, to rest. Night falls completely. The sound of waves softens. Stars reflect in the smooth surfaces of the temples, creating a celestial connection, a sense that earth and sky meet here perfectly. You lie down on a flat terrace of stone, letting your body align with the rhythm of history and craftsmanship, letting your mind drift along the polished surfaces, tracing the curves of gods, humans, and mythical beings. The temples endure, patient and silent. They hold the memory of centuries, of artisans' focus, of devotion and care. You feel the calm settle into your chest, softening your thoughts, slowing your heartbeat. The stones are steady, enduring. You are steady with them. Let the polished surfaces guide your mind to a gentle stillness. Breathe slowly. Notice how your thoughts soften, how your body relaxes. Imagine the artisans working centuries ago, their steady hands shaping stone, their patient focus mirrored in the calm rhythm of your breath. The temples reflect the moonlight now. The polished walls glow softly, casting gentle, moving shadows. Each carved figure seems peaceful, calm, observing, waiting. You feel at peace too, carried by the steady patience of stone, by the reflective surfaces, by the enduring presence of something crafted with care and precision. The Skywatcher's stones in Patagonia. Imagine standing on the windswept plains of Patagonia, the sky vast and open above you, stretching endlessly, painted with soft blues and fading oranges as the sun moves slowly toward the horizon. The air is crisp, carrying the faint scent of earth and stone. All around, scattered across the open land, are enormous stones carefully placed, silent, yet somehow speaking to the sky above. These are the Skywatcher's stones. Each stone is unique, yet together they form patterns that only the sky seems to understand. Some are aligned with the rising sun, others with distant mountains or shifting constellations. You step closer to one, tracing the rough edges with your fingers. Its surface is worn smooth in places, weathered by centuries of wind, rain, and time. Yet the alignment remains perfect, deliberate. It is as if someone or something once watched the skies here and left a message carved in stone. The wind moves gently, carrying with it the faint whisper of time itself. You walk slowly among the stones, noticing how some form lines, almost like invisible threads connecting one to another, stretching for hundreds of meters across the plain. These alignments are subtle, almost imperceptible, unless you pause, breathe, and let your senses adjust. The stones are patient teachers, inviting you to notice, to feel, to understand without words. The sun continues its slow descent, painting the stones in soft golds and deepening shadows. Their forms are softened by the fading light, yet their presence is powerful. You sit beside one of the taller stones, letting your hand rest lightly on its rough surface. It is cool, grounding, comforting. You feel the history of this place seeping into your being, a calm energy that slows your thoughts and relaxes your body. As night approaches, the first stars begin to emerge, faint points of light piercing the deepening blue above. The stones seem to glow faintly in the twilight, their presence amplified by the vast openness surrounding them. You notice how the arrangements mirror patterns in the sky, constellations reflected faintly in the careful positioning of each stone. There is a quiet understanding here, a dialogue between earth and cosmos, carved silently in stone. You lie down on the earth beside the stones, feeling the coolness of the soil and the rough texture of rock beneath your hands. Your breathing slows, matching the rhythm of the wind as it drifts across the plains. The stones are steady, unmoving, patient in a way that the world around them rarely is. You feel yourself becoming part of their quiet presence, anchored by their ancient calm. The sky darkens fully, the stars multiply, scattered across the black expanse above. The Milky Way arcs gracefully, mirrored faintly in the alignments of the stones. You trace the patterns with your eyes, feeling the geometry, the deliberate care, the deep intelligence that placed each stone precisely where it stands. This place is older than memory, older than history, yet it speaks to you in a language of silence and stillness. The wind whispers again, soft and gentle, rustling the grass and sweeping across the stones. You close your eyes, letting the sound lull you, the touch of stone grounding you, the alignment of earth and sky calming your mind. The stones have seen centuries pass, storms come and go, night after night, and yet they remain. They are patient, eternal, and they carry with them a profound stillness. Imagine the first watchers here, long ago, guiding their gaze across the horizon, tracking the movements of the sun, moon, and stars. They may have placed these stones carefully, with patience and reverence, creating a celestial calendar, a monument to the heavens, or perhaps a sanctuary for thought and reflection. Whatever the reason, their work remains, a connection across millennia, a gentle reminder of the universe beyond ourselves. The night deepens, the stars shine brighter. You breathe slowly, allowing the calm to spread from your chest through your body, easing tension, quieting thoughts. The stones are steadfast, anchoring you in this moment, in this space, in this serene wilderness. Their presence is timeless, a steady rhythm in a chaotic world, and your mind drifts along with it. Imagine the cold air brushing your face as the moon rises, casting a soft, silvery light across the plain. Shadows stretch long, and the stones seem to shimmer, almost alive in their quiet strength. Each stone has a story, though not one told in words, but felt in presence, in alignment, in the subtle harmony of earth and sky. You feel the story seep into your mind, softening your awareness, slowing your breathing, lulling you deeper into stillness. The vast Patagonian night surrounds you. You lie among the stones, your body resting against the cool, solid earth. The stars above seem close, intimate, mirrored faintly by the careful arrangement of the stones. The air is still, the wind a gentle caress. Your mind drifts freely, carried by the calm presence of these ancient monuments, your thoughts softening, fading, surrendering to the serenity of the night. The Skywatcher's stones endure. Centuries pass, generations fade, yet they remain, silent observers of the sky, patient guardians of knowledge and time. You feel their quiet strength, their patient watchfulness, and let it carry you into deeper calm. Your heartbeat slows, your muscles release tension, every breath becomes smooth, steady, unhurried. You are part of this place now, resting alongside the stones, aligned with the rhythm of the earth and the sky. The stars shine above, the stones hold steady below, and the gentle breeze whispers, carrying you further into rest. The vastness of Patagonia, the enduring presence of the Skywatcher's stones, the harmony between earth and cosmos, all cradle you into a profound, peaceful sleep. And as your consciousness drifts, the stones remain, eternal, patient, silent, guiding you into a night of calm, restorative slumber, where the mysteries of the universe and the watchful stones of Patagonia lull you gently into dreams. The Forgotten Tower of Nubia. Imagine standing on the sun-baked plains of Nubia, where the desert stretches endlessly in muted tones of gold and brown, and the horizon seems to melt into the sky. In the distance, a solitary tower rises, weathered by centuries yet defiant, standing as a silent witness to the passage of time. This is the Forgotten Tower of Nubia, a structure so enigmatic that its origin and purpose remain shrouded in mystery. You approach slowly, the air is warm but calm, carrying the faint scent of earth and ancient stone. Each step brings you closer to the tower, and with it, a sense of quiet awe. The tower is constructed from massive stone blocks, irregular yet perfectly balanced, stacked one upon another with a precision that seems impossible for the era in which it was built. The sun strikes its walls at an angle that casts long, shifting shadows, accentuating every crack and groove, every weathered surface. As you run your fingers along the rough stone, you notice the fine lines, almost as if the tower was not just built, but carefully sculpted, with attention to detail lost to modern understanding. The surface is worn smooth in some areas, where wind and sand have touched it over centuries, yet other sections remain sharp, defined, almost deliberate in their construction. You step back and look at the tower in full, marveling at its form. It rises solitary and silent, yet it has a presence, a weight of history that presses softly, insistently, into your consciousness. The wind moves across the plains, carrying with it whispers of forgotten times, brushing past the tower, stirring sand at its base. You notice the surrounding landscape, scattered stones, remnants of walls, faint outlines of structures that may have once been part of a larger complex. It is a place of emptiness, yet full of presence, a quiet monument that speaks not with words but with its sheer persistence. As the sun drifts lower, the light softens, bathing the tower in shades of gold and amber. Shadows stretch and lengthen, and the tower's silhouette becomes even more striking against the fading sky. You find a spot to sit nearby, letting the stillness of the desert settle around you. The tower stands like a sentinel, its mysteries locked within stone, inviting contemplation, patience, and calm. You imagine the builders who once worked here. Perhaps they labored with simple tools, yet achieved a level of precision that leaves modern observers astounded. Each block placed carefully, each joint aligned with intention, each corner measured with a subtle understanding of balance and gravity. And yet, no records exist, no inscriptions, no tablets, no written history tell us why this tower was built, or who built it. The silence itself feels deliberate, echoing across time. The sky begins to shift to dusk. Hues of pink and violet mingle with the gold of the setting sun. The tower glows softly, and your eyes trace the lines of its construction, the shadows that fall across its base, the weathered stones that tell stories in texture rather than language. You breathe slowly, deeply, letting the calm of the scene settle into your chest, your mind, your body. The tower is patient, enduring, and you are enveloped in its quiet presence. As night falls, the air cools. The desert is silent except for the occasional rustle of a distant creature, the faint movement of wind through the sparse shrubs. Stars appear overhead, scattered across the sky, and the tower seems to reach toward them, a solitary monument aligned with both earth and cosmos. You lie back on the warm sand, feeling the gentle incline beneath you, the firm support of the earth grounding you, and the enduring strength of the tower anchoring your awareness. Imagine centuries of wind and storms passing over this place. Imagine the tower standing unwavering, while civilizations rose and fell around it. Rivers changed course, and empires came and went. It remains, timeless and still, a reminder that some knowledge, some presence, some intent, is beyond our understanding. You feel the calm seep deeper with every breath, as the mystery of the Forgotten Tower settles over your mind like a soft blanket. You notice the patterns in the stones, subtle alignments with the horizon, perhaps with celestial events, though the specifics are lost to history. The tower seems to hold secrets in its geometry, its weight, its placement. Secrets that do not require words, only quiet observation, patience, and attention. You close your eyes briefly, allowing your senses to absorb the scene, the cool night air, the soft desert sand, the patient, enduring tower beside you. The stars shine brighter as the night deepens. You feel connected to the tower, to the builders long gone, to the vast expanse of Nubian desert around you. Each breath slows. Each thought softens. The weight of time and mystery settles gently into your mind. The tower stands steadfast, silent, offering a sense of calm that flows slowly through every muscle, every heartbeat, every fiber of your being. Imagine the desert stretching endlessly, the tower standing alone, yet somehow in harmony with the earth, wind, and sky. The stones of the tower are cold now, under the night sky, yet they radiate a quiet warmth, a presence that steadies your mind. You feel yourself aligning with this rhythm, breathing in sync with the enduring silence, letting your thoughts drift away like grains of sand carried by a gentle breeze. The Forgotten Tower remains, patient, eternal, silent. It carries the weight of centuries, the secrets of its builders, and the calm of the desert night. You lie beside it, your body softened, your mind still, floating in the gentle embrace of history, time, and mystery. And as your consciousness drifts, the tower watches silently, guiding you into a profound, restful sleep, where the mysteries of Nubia cradle you, carrying you deeper into calm and peace. The crystal caves of the Andes. Deep within the towering mountains of the Andes, hidden beneath layers of stone and earth, there are caves unlike any others. These are not ordinary hollows carved by time and water. They are vast chambers, shimmering with light, their walls covered in crystals so large, so luminous, they transform darkness into quiet radiance. These are the crystal caves of the Andes. You step slowly inside. The air is cool, almost damp, carrying a faint mineral scent. Your footsteps echo softly, fading quickly, as if absorbed by the crystals themselves. The silence is immense, wrapping around you like a blanket. Then, as your eyes adjust, you begin to see it, the walls glowing faintly, as though the earth itself is holding a quiet lantern for you. The crystals are enormous, jutting from the walls and ceiling in every direction. Some stretch longer than a person, some thicker than tree trunks, yet they all shine faintly, catching even the smallest flicker of light. Their surfaces are smooth in places, rough in others, refracting glimmers that dance gently across the cavern. It feels less like stone and more like entering a dream sculpted into reality. You run your hand lightly along one crystal. It is cool, smooth, and solid, yet there is a faint vibration beneath, almost as if the cave itself hums softly with the rhythm of the earth. You pause, breathing slowly, listening, feeling the quiet pulse. Time here feels different, slower, gentler. Each moment stretches, inviting you to linger. Deeper inside, the caves open into chambers so large they feel like underground cathedrals. Crystals rise from the ground like pillars, others hang like frozen beams from the ceiling, forming structures both chaotic and harmonious. The light bends and breaks across them, scattering into soft glows and faint rainbows. Every step reveals new patterns, new reflections, new quiet wonders. The air is still. Only the sound of your own breathing reminds you that time continues. You sit by one of the larger formations, leaning gently against it, feeling its cool strength against your back. The crystal doesn't move, doesn't shift. It has been here for centuries, perhaps longer, growing slowly, patiently, in silence. It carries the memory of time itself, condensed into solid light. Your gaze drifts upward. The The crystals overhead reflect faint colors, soft blues, pale purples, quiet whites. Together they form a canopy that feels almost celestial, like a second sky hidden beneath the earth. You breathe deeply, letting the calm soak into you. The caves are quiet but alive, filled with presence, filled with a patience that humbles and soothes. Imagine those who may have stumbled upon these caves long ago. Explorers, wanderers, perhaps seekers of knowledge. They would have lit their torches and gasped as the walls glowed back at them, the crystals sparkling like stars scattered across stone. For them it must have felt like stepping into another world, a sacred chamber hidden beneath the mountains. As the minutes pass, you find your breathing slowing, your body softening. The crystals reflect not just light but calm, returning to you every quiet thought, magnifying it, spreading it through the cavern. The walls shimmer faintly as if responding to your stillness, as though your calm breath has joined their silent rhythm. The further you go, the deeper the wonder. Some crystals are transparent, clear as glass. Others are milky, glowing softly in the dim light. When you place your hand against one, you can almost see faint patterns within lines, fractures, delicate threads like frozen rivers captured in stone. They remind you of time itself, flowing, freezing, preserved forever in silence. You sit once more, this time in the largest chamber of all. It is vast, echoing, yet so quiet, it feels like the earth itself is asleep. Crystals rise all around you, taller than trees, thicker than walls, glowing faintly like lanterns in the deep. You lean back, close your eyes, and let the cave cradle you. The silence is profound, but it is not empty. It is full of stillness, patience, and calm. The Andes above stretch into the sky, snow and stone rising higher than clouds. Yet here, deep below, the mountains keep another secret, a sanctuary of crystal and quiet. The caves hold their mystery close, sharing only with those willing to move slowly, breathe gently, listen carefully. And as you sit among them, you feel that mystery settling into you, grounding you, easing you into peace. The crystals have grown here for thousands of years, inch by inch, layer by layer, in total silence. They have witnessed no wars, no noise, no hurry, only the patient passing of time. And now, they share that patience with you. Your body grows heavier, your mind quieter, your breath smoother. Every crystal, every shimmering wall, every glowing surface invites you to let go, to sink into stillness. The caves do not ask for answers, they only offer presence, a place where silence is not emptiness, but fullness, where light comes not from the sun, but from the earth itself, where time slows until it almost stops, leaving you suspended in peace. You close your eyes. The cool air brushes softly across your skin. The crystals hum faintly, their presence steady and eternal. Your breathing drifts into rhythm with the cave, slow, even, calm. Thoughts fade, tension slips away. You are cradled in the arms of the mountain, held gently in a chamber of light and silence. The crystal caves of the Andes remain, patient and eternal, long after you drift into sleep. Their shimmering walls stand guard, their silent glow keeping watch, as you surrender fully to rest. And as dreams arrive, soft and slow, the crystals continue to shine in the deep, steady heartbeat of the earth. The monoliths beneath the Sahara sands, beneath the endless golden waves of the Sahara, where the wind moves slowly and the sun presses its warmth into the earth. There are whispers of something older than kingdoms, older than cities, perhaps even older than memory itself. The desert is not just sand, it is a veil. And under that veil, the land keeps secrets, secrets in the form of vast, silent monoliths, standing stones buried in dunes, markers of a time no one can fully explain. Imagine walking across the dunes at dusk. The air cools, the horizon blurs, and in the fading light, the sand shifts just enough to reveal the edge of something that should not be there. A straight line, a carved edge, the corner of a stone too large, too deliberate to be an accident. You brush away the dust, and the shape grows. Smooth, tall, unyielding, one of many, a row of monoliths, half buried, their tops just piercing the surface of the desert, like the tips of forgotten towers. Archaeologists who study this region often speak in cautious tones. They talk about weathering, erosion, and natural formations. But when you stand before one of these stones, when your hand rests against the surface, polished as if by tools, as if by intention, you feel the weight of silence. The desert does not explain, it only hides. Some of these monoliths stretch higher than a man, heavier than trucks, yet they are planted deep, unmoving even when storms rage. Their placement is not random. Many are aligned with the stars, just as stone circles in distant lands are. Imagine, long before history, travelers gazing at the night sky from this very desert, arranging stones so that they echoed the heavens. Why? For worship? For navigation? For memory? The Sahara was not always a desert. Thousands of years ago, it was a land of rivers, of lakes, of green valleys. People thrived here, and perhaps, in that forgotten age, they raised monuments to mark their presence. But the sands came, the waters dried, the green turned to gold, and the monoliths sank beneath the dunes, half swallowed, waiting in silence. When the wind uncovers them, it feels as though the earth itself exhales. The stones appear with an ancient calmness, as if they have been waiting for someone, anyone, to notice. They are not ruined temples or crumbling walls. They are solitary, proud, and deliberate. Each one cut, shaped, placed. Together they form patterns, lines stretching across the desert, circles that could once have been gathering places, or perhaps maps written in stone. Some researchers whisper of lost civilizations, ones never recorded by history, civilizations that may have measured the sky with greater care than we know today. The Sahara's monoliths are compared to Stonehenge, to Easter Island, to the great stone cities of South America. But unlike those places, these stand almost alone, without inscriptions, without statues, without the remains of villages around them, as if the builders wanted only the stones to remain, as if the stones themselves carried all the message they needed. Others imagine stranger explanations, that the monoliths were not built for humans, but for something else. Giants of myth, perhaps, who needed markers of a different scale, or beings who traveled not across the land but across the stars, leaving signs for those who would follow. In the quiet of the desert night, such thoughts do not feel impossible. The sky stretches wider here than almost anywhere else on Earth. You look up, and the stars are countless, sharp, endless. The stones point to them. They seem to belong to them. Picture lying down beside one of these monoliths at night, the sand still warm from the day, the stone cool against your back. You close your eyes, and the wind hums softly, brushing across the dunes. The stars above shift slowly, their movement mirrored in the alignment of the stones. You feel very small, and yet somehow connected to those who placed the stones here, who also looked up at this same sky, wondering, measuring, remembering. The desert has a way of swallowing time. Centuries pass like grains of sand through the wind. Civilizations rise, flourish, and fall. Yet the stones remain. They do not decay. They do not move. They wait. Perhaps that is their true purpose, to be reminders of endurance. When all else is gone, stone remains. When memory fails, stone remembers. And so the monoliths of the Sahara stand, half hidden, half forgotten, but fully present for anyone willing to seek them. They are older than history, older than writing, older than the names we give to gods and kings. They belong not to one people, but to the earth itself. Some believe more stones are still buried, entire circles and avenues of them, hidden just beneath the sand. Satellite images show faint shapes, darker patches beneath the golden waves, too regular to be natural. What might be revealed if the sands shift further? An entire city of stones, a calendar older than the pyramids, or perhaps something we have no words for yet. The thought itself is calming, that the earth still holds mysteries, that not everything has been uncovered, explained, written down. There are still places where wonder lives, where questions remain, and perhaps that is why the Sahara keeps her secrets, to remind us to be humble, to remind us that we do not know everything, to remind us to keep looking. So if you ever find yourself in that vast desert, stand quietly before the monoliths. Let the silence of thousands of years settle into you. Let the slow breathing of the dunes calm your own. The stones do not ask you to solve them. They only ask you to witness them, to stand for a moment in the endlessness of time, and to feel that you too are part of this great mystery. The sunken fortress of the Black Sea. Beneath the dark waters of the Black Sea, where sunlight fades into a deep and endless blue, whispers of something ancient drift like currents. Fishermen speak of strange shapes beneath the waves. Divers tell of walls, arches, and stones that seem far too deliberate to be natural. And for generations, stories have circulated of a fortress, a massive, forgotten stronghold, sitting silently on the seafloor. They call it the Sunken Fortress of the Black Sea. Imagine for a moment the surface of the Black Sea, calm, almost glass-like, stretching to the horizon. The waves move gently, their rhythm steady, hypnotic. But below that peaceful surface lies another world. A world where time moves differently. A world where silence is broken only by the slow hum of water pressing against stone. And it is there, in that hidden stillness, that the fortress rests. The structure, according to divers who have seen it, is immense. Thick walls rise from the seabed, their stones carefully cut and fitted, as though once they were part of towers, gates, and halls. Some speak of stairways descending into the deep, leading nowhere now but into the sand. Others describe wide platforms, their edges still sharp, untouched by time, even though they have been underwater for thousands of years. How could such a thing exist here? the Black Sea, after all, was not always the sea we know today. Thousands of years ago, it was smaller, surrounded by fertile lands and human settlements. Then, a great flood, one of the most powerful in human memory, swept through. Scholars argue it might even be the flood remembered in ancient myths. As the waters rose, valleys were drowned, villages disappeared, and cities were swallowed whole. Could it be that among them was this fortress, an immense citadel, standing proud until the waves claimed it? Close your eyes and imagine the moment. A great fortress, its towers standing high on a hilltop, overlooking fields and rivers, people moving about within its walls, farmers, guards, children, priests. Then the waters come. At first, perhaps, a trickle, then a flood, unstoppable, roaring across the land. The walls shake, the towers collapse, and slowly, piece by piece, the fortress gives way to the sea. Its people flee, or perish, and the citadel is left to the silence of the deep. For thousands of years, the Black Sea guarded its secret, but the sea has a way of revealing its past. In the 20th century, divers exploring the seabed began reporting strange discoveries: stone blocks laid in perfect lines, archways buried in sand, entire streets seemingly intact beneath the water. Some dismissed these as natural formations, but others, gazing at the symmetry, the scale, the sheer intentionality of the structures, whispered of the fortress. Today, advanced sonar scans show patterns beneath the waves, rectangles, walls, and roads stretching for hundreds of meters. Too organized, too precise, to be chance. And the more these shapes are studied, the clearer the possibility becomes that an entire settlement, perhaps even a fortress city, lies hidden beneath the sea. Now, imagine yourself diving into those waters. The surface breaks above you, and the light of the sun follows you down in shimmering bands. At first, there is nothing but fish and drifting weeds, but then shapes emerge from the blue, angled lines where there should only be smooth stone. A wall, impossibly tall, rising before you. You swim closer, tracing the edges with your hand. The stone is cold, rough, but deliberate, each block cut and placed with purpose. You follow it down, deeper, until the base vanishes into the sand. And you realize you are floating before something not natural, but crafted. Something built, something forgotten. The Black Sea holds many secrets. Layers of history lie beneath its waves, preserved in ways unlike anywhere else. Because of the unique chemistry of its deeper waters, lacking oxygen, organic material does not decay quickly. Wooden ships from thousands of years ago lie perfectly preserved. Pottery, tools, even human remains remain intact. If such treasures survive, then what might the fortress still hold within its silent halls? Statues, weapons, inscriptions that could rewrite what we know about early civilizations. Some say the fortress is older than history itself, that it belongs to a people we no longer remember. Perhaps it was a trading hub, connecting cultures across Europe and Asia. Perhaps it was a seat of power, guarding lands that are now only seabed. Others whisper of a more mythical past, that it was not just a fortress, but a sanctuary, built to honor gods, or to watch the heavens. That its fall beneath the sea was not an accident of nature, but punishment. And then there are those who connect it to the great flood myths of the world. From Mesopotamia, to the Bible, to ancient Greece, countless traditions speak of a flood that ended an age of man. Could this fortress be a remnant of that lost world, a real place, tied to the stories of Noah, of Gilgamesh, of Deucalion? If so, it is not just a ruin, it is a bridge between legend and reality, between story and history. But what strikes visitors most, even those who see only images or sonar scans, is the silence. The fortress has no voice. Its halls no longer echo with life. Its towers no longer watch over the land. Yet in that silence, there is a strange kind of peace. A reminder that nothing, not even stone, lasts forever. That even the greatest works of humankind can be claimed by nature, reshaped into something both ruin and wonder. Picture yourself floating there, deep beneath the waves. The fortress looms around you, its walls rising like mountains in the dark water. Fish glide through the openings where doors once stood. A soft current stirs the sand, revealing a corner of a stairway, a piece of a carving, a symbol whose meaning has been lost. You breathe slowly, steadily, the sound of your air bubbles rising like distant bells. And for a moment you feel it, the presence of the past, the weight of forgotten time pressing against you like the water itself. Perhaps that is why the sunken fortress fascinates us so deeply. It is not just a ruin, it is a memory, preserved in silence, a reminder of how fragile our world is, and how easily it can be changed. Entire cities, entire ways of life, can vanish in a single moment, but they do not vanish completely. They remain, hidden, waiting, whispering their stories through stone. And so, the Black Sea keeps its watch. The fortress remains where it fell, untouched, unseen by most, but never gone. Divers continue to search. Scientists continue to scan, and storytellers continue to wonder. Someday perhaps the fortress will give up its secrets, but until then, it lies in stillness, like a dream beneath the water. And as you drift with it, drifting in thought, drifting in imagination, you too can feel that calm, the rhythm of the sea, the patience of stone, the mystery of something ancient, sleeping just beyond our reach, the sunken fortress of the Black Sea, quiet, eternal, waiting, the obelisks that point to the stars. There is a place in silence, far from city lights, where obelisks rise out of the earth like fingers reaching for the heavens. These tall, slender stones stand alone or in small groups, aligned with precision. They point up, not to decorate, but perhaps to converse with the stars. You walk among them at dusk. The temperature softens, the sky deepens, light fades slowly, the first stars appear. One by one, the obelisks cast long, gentle shadows. Their forms are simple, clean, ancient. You brush your fingers along the base of one. Its surface is cool, smooth in some places, weathered in others. Even the rough patches feel intentional, part of the story etched in stone. The sky above is vast, the air clear. Without the burden of noise or light pollution, you can see the Milky Way drift across the dome overhead. You tilt your head back, following its milky path, and you sense a connection between sky and stone. The obelisks are not random, they align. Some aim toward the North Star, others toward points of light that rise or set with the seasons. Imagine ancient watchers gathering here, centuries ago. They might have used simple tools, strings, plumb lines, shadows, water, to measure the motion of planets, the phases of the moon, the points where stars rose. For them, erecting an obelisk was more than architecture. It was making visible the rhythm of the cosmos. You walk from one obelisk to another. Each one is different in height, shape, patina. Some are tall and slender, pointing sharply upward. Others are thick, stout, but still tapering. Many bear cracks. Some have faint carvings. In places you see grooves worn by wind, by rain, by centuries. Yet the alignment remains. The obelisks stand true. The stars shift. A few more appear. The sky turns deeper blue, then velvet black. The obelisks seem to drink in the darkness. Their stone silhouettes against the sky carry the weight of centuries. You feel grounded. The earth beneath your feet is cool. The stone under your hand is solid. The sky above is infinite. You breathe slowly, in, out. With every breath, the stones seem to echo something. The motion of earth around the sun, the turning of the moon, the rising and setting of constellations, the unseen mechanisms of time, measured in shadows and light. Imagine nights when the moon was new, when the skies were darkest, and the stars shone bright. Observers erecting one obelisk after another, setting each one in precise lines. Perhaps someone marking the path of Sirius, or of Orion, or of Pleiades, marking directions for seasons, times to plant, times to harvest, times to move, times to rest. The obelisks do not mark graves. They do not memorialize kings. Their purpose feels more subtle, more connected to cycles, to sky, to something ancient and universal. They exist to be read by those who look up, to be used by night watchers, by people who understood that sky and earth are not separate, but reflections of one another. The wind brushes across the stones. It carries the sound of silence. At your feet the sand or soil is cool. Under your hand the stone remains strong. You close your eyes for a moment. Let the hush of the obelisks wash through you. The sky drifts. Stars move imperceptibly. You open your eyes. The alignment becomes more apparent now in the deep darkness. Points of starlight line up with edges of stone. Edges catch light. Surfaces reflect moonlight. Where carvings exist, they are faint but present. Maybe symbols indicating celestial phenomena. Maybe markers for equinox or solstice. You lie down between two obelisks. The stone on either side frames the sky. You feel cradled by stone and sky. The constellations shift. A shooting star crosses. The silhouette of an obelisk catches it. The moment feels sacred. As the night deepens, the cold moves in. The air becomes crisp. The stars brighter. The obelisks are quieter than ever. Yet their presence is strong. They do not move. They do not shift. They simply point. You imagine ancient rituals performed here. Observers chanting softly, offering thanks, observing meteor showers, tracking seasonal shifts, offering silence to the sky. Children learning geometry and stars by the light of moon. Elders teaching, pressing stone, adjusting alignment, repeating work. The stone under your back is cool and firm. The sky overhead is vast. Your breath slows. Each inhale brings night air. Each exhale releases tension. Thoughts drift like clouds, fading. The mystery of the obelisks, the beauty of their alignment, the patience of their builders, all become lullabies. Moonlight touches the highest points. The obelisks glow faintly. Their shadows stretch long across land that once was used for gatherings, perhaps for observations, ritual, alignment with sky. You feel the weight of time, years folding into centuries, generations looking up, measuring with eyes and stones. You are part of that lineage now, watching, listening, feeling. Stars shift. The world outside your mind recedes. You drift. The obelisks remain, pointing upward, eternal watchers of the sky, anchored in earth. Sleep comes in soft waves. The stones, the sky, your breath, all move together in gentle rhythm. The obelisks that point to the stars endure, silent, true, aligned, and as you drift further into rest, let them guide you into dreams filled with constellations, whispers of ancient builders, and the calm truth that some connections are older than memory itself. Let the stars be your lullaby. Let the stones be your anchor. Sleep now. The hills that hide giant carvings. The land stretches quietly before you. Hills rise and fall like waves of earth, gentle, endless, rolling. At first they seem ordinary, just slopes covered in grass, scattered stones, trees leaning with the wind. But beneath their silence lies something vast, something almost too large to see. Beneath the green and the soil carved into the very shape of the land are figures, colossal designs, etched not for eyes on the ground, but for eyes above. From the crest of a hill you cannot see them. Even walking across them you feel only the rise and fall of the land, but step back far enough, or soar high like a bird, and the shapes begin to emerge. Horses, serpents, birds with wings spread wide. Human forms taller than towers, stretching their arms across valleys, circles and spirals carved into the ridges, patterns so large they could only have been meant for the sky. You climb one of these hills slowly. Each step presses into soil, soft, steady. Grass bends beneath your weight, insects hum gently, a breeze brushes your face. Nothing about this hill feels different, and yet, you know that the ground beneath you is not just ground, it is line, it is shape, it is part of something larger, something hidden. Pause for a moment, breathe in. Let your chest rise. Exhale slowly, letting the sound of the breeze carry your thoughts. Imagine the builders, centuries or millennia ago, climbing this same hill, not to see the shape, but to carve it, to trust in something they could not view in full. They cut away earth, layer after layer. They exposed the white chalk beneath, or set stones in deliberate patterns. They labored not for a day, not for a year, but for generations, each one continuing what the last began, and they never saw the whole. They never could. They worked in faith, in vision, in devotion to something greater than themselves. At the crest of the hill, you look out. The land spreads wide, valleys deep, sky stretching overhead in endless blue. From here you cannot see the carving, you cannot trace its outline, but you know it is there, hidden in plain sight, waiting. Imagine now rising higher, rising as a hawk would rise, wings spreading, gliding on air. The hill falls away, the land flattens into patterns, and suddenly, it appears. The shape, the carving, lines connecting, curves sweeping across the hillside. A horse, vast and graceful, running forever across the slope, or a serpent, winding its way along the ridge, or a giant human figure, arms outstretched as if holding the sky itself. These carvings are not small. They stretch hundreds of meters, some even more, so large that from the ground they vanish into ordinary landscape, so large that only sky, only distance reveals them. Were they made for gods, watching from above? Were they signals, guiding travelers across ancient lands, or were they messages written to the sky itself, inscriptions of devotion, warnings, or prayers? The sun begins to lower, shadows stretch across the hills, and in the soft angle of light, something changes. The lines of the carving whisper into view, grass grows differently along the cuts, stones catch the sun, patterns emerge in shade and brightness. You stand, transfixed, as if the hill itself is breathing, revealing, remembering. Close your eyes now. Imagine lying upon the hillside, the ground firm beneath you, cool and steady. The earth cradles you, just as it cradled the hands of those who worked it long ago. Your breath slows, the breeze moves through grass. Somewhere, hidden just beneath, is a line of a carving, an ancient stroke of design, holding its place for centuries. Generations have passed since they were made. Rain has fallen, snow has melted, winds have howled, suns have burned, but the carvings remain. Grass grows back, but the earth remembers. Soil shifts, but the lines endure. These figures are patient, older than kings, older than kingdoms, as old as memory itself. You walk further. Another hill rises, another slope, another secret. This one holds a circle. From above it is perfect, smooth, unbroken, a ring carved into the ridge. Perhaps it marked the passage of the sun, or the moon, or the turning of seasons. Perhaps it was a calendar, a cosmic clock, reminding ancient people when to plant, when to harvest, when to rest. From the ground, it is nothing more than a slope, a patch of chalky soil, a line in the grass. But from the sky, it is eternal, it is whole, it is meaning, and so the hills hide their carvings, not out of secrecy, but out of scale, out of patience, out of a quiet reminder that not everything can be seen up close. Some truths need distance, some mysteries reveal themselves only when we rise above. Lie back again, let the slope hold you. The sky above deepens to dusk, colors fade, shadows lengthen, birdsong quiets, stars prepare to appear. You breathe slowly, your chest rises, falls, the hill is steady beneath you. The carving is still, eternal, beneath the grass. Imagine the builders again, children learning where to dig, adults hauling stones, placing them with care. Elders watching the stars, aligning shapes with constellations. The work was long, the vision was greater than their own lives, and still they carved. They trusted the earth to remember, and the earth has. The night comes, the first stars appear, and in that starlight you sense it. The carvings connect not only to earth but to sky. The horse runs toward Orion, the serpent coils beneath Draco, the human figure points to Pleiades. Earth and sky mirror one another, joined by stone and soil. You breathe deeply, slowly. Let the rhythm of the earth calm you. Let the patience of the carvings steady you. They have waited thousands of years in silence. They can wait longer still. And in their silence, they offer you rest. The hills are vast, the carvings eternal, the stars endless. And you, here, lying quietly, are part of that same stillness, part of that same story. Breathing with the earth, resting with the hills, dreaming with the carvings. Sleep now. Let the carvings hold you, as they have held time itself. Let the hills cradle you. Let the stars watch over you, and drift, slowly, gently, into the quiet mystery of the earth. The hills hide their carvings, and you too may rest hidden now, safe, calm, timeless. The Temple of Vanished Knowledge. There is a place in the world where silence gathers more thickly than anywhere else, where the wind moves like it has nowhere to go, and the stones seem to hold centuries in their weight. In this quiet, there stands a temple. Not a temple of grandeur, not one carved with golden images or statues of gods. No, this temple is different. It is simple, it is vast, it is silent, and yet it speaks in ways words cannot capture. You step closer, the ground beneath your feet is uneven, scattered with loose stones and dry dust. Each footstep echoes softly against walls that have seen countless seasons pass. The temple is made of enormous stones, carefully cut, placed with precision that seems almost unnatural for its age. You run your hand along a wall. The surface is cold, smooth in some places, rough in others, weathered by wind, water, and time. But there is intention here. Every stone, every corner, every hollow and ridge feels deliberate, as if each was placed with knowledge now lost. The corridors twist and turn like the winding paths of memory. You follow them slowly, letting each step fall softly. Some chambers are narrow, confining, forcing you to move with care. Others open suddenly into vast halls, ceilings high, spaces that make you feel small, yet strangely safe. Sunlight filters through cracks above, slanting in thin golden beams, illuminating dust that floats lazily in the air. In this quiet light, the stones seem to glow softly, holding the memory of hands that shaped them so long ago. Pause for a moment. Breathe in, let the air fill your lungs, cool and still. Exhale slowly. Let the silence of this place seep into your bones. Feel the weight of the temple beneath you. Firm, unyielding, patient. It has endured long after its creators have vanished. Imagine the builders, long ago. They moved stones with care, lifting, dragging, setting each one with intention. They worked not for fame, not for glory, not for us. They worked for something greater, perhaps knowledge, perhaps understanding, perhaps a connection between earth and sky, between the mortal and the divine. They measured, they planned, they built, and they left no record of their methods, no instructions for those who would follow. Only the stones remain, silent and enigmatic. You walk slowly from chamber to chamber. The air shifts slightly as you pass. Dust drifts in thin shafts of light, catching your eyes. You notice a faint pattern in the floor, lines and shapes that almost suggest a map, a guide or a calendar. Perhaps it was meant to mark the sun, the moon, the stars, or the passage of seasons. You cannot be certain. The knowledge has vanished, like a whispered secret lost in the wind. And yet, the intention remains. You feel it in the coolness of the stone, in the alignment of the walls, in the quiet gravity of the space. Outside, the wind sighs through the surrounding landscape. The temple sits isolated, untouched by the passage of modern life. Grass bends gently around its base. A tree leans nearby, leaves rustling softly, carrying a sound almost like a whisper. Somewhere far off a bird calls, brief and distant, but mostly there is stillness. And in this stillness, the temple seems alive. Not alive in the way that creatures move, but alive in presence, in memory, in the quiet power of something made by hands that no longer exist. Step closer to the largest chamber. The ceiling rises high above. shadowed in places, illuminated in others. You feel the coolness, the draft that whispers along the stone surfaces. There are niches carved into the walls, shallow, empty, suggesting that objects once rested there. What were they? Books, scrolls, tablets, tools, or something far stranger, something we cannot name? No evidence remains, only space and shape, silence and shadow. Breathe again, slowly. Inhale the calm, the ancient energy of this place. Exhale tension, exhale thought, exhale the noise of the world. Let the rhythm of the temple guide your breath. In, out, in, out. Imagine the builders once gathering here. Perhaps at sunrise, perhaps at sunset, perhaps under a full moon. They studied the sky, measured the angles of light, noticed the shifting stars, and aligned stone to match. They observed patterns of sun and shadow, moon and star, and then, carefully, deliberately, they built. Every stone, every corner, every chamber, a note in a silent symphony of knowledge. Time flows differently here. Centuries blend, vanish, and fold upon themselves. Dust settles, stones erode slowly, rain falls and dries, the seasons come and go, and still, the temple endures. Its presence is a record of understanding lost to history, a message in stone that we may never fully read. Walk slowly toward the inner sanctum. The air cools further, shadows deepen. You feel a gentle awe, a reverent hush. No one is here to watch you, yet it feels as if the temple notices, as if it remembers. Your hand brushes a wall, cold and solid. Your fingertips feel the grooves, the small irregularities, evidence of hands long gone. You imagine the careful work, the patience, the knowledge required to craft this place. You lie down for a moment, letting the floor of the chamber support you. Feel the firmness beneath, the stability of centuries. Your eyes trace the shapes above. Shafts of light catch dust motes, making them shimmer like tiny stars. Shadows move slowly, as if time itself is breathing. Let yourself drift. Let the temple cradle your mind. Outside, the wind whispers again. The hills, the trees, the stones, all hold a quiet rhythm. You listen to it, letting it guide your thoughts into soft clouds of imagination. Think of the temple as a bridge between what was known and what has been forgotten. Each stone a word, each chamber a sentence, the whole building a story we cannot read aloud. And yet, in its silence, there is communication. A lullaby of understanding, patience, and mystery. Breathe in slowly, feeling your chest rise. Exhale gently. Allow the weight of the stones, the presence of the temple, and the endless quiet to sink deep into you. Let your thoughts fade. Let the whispers of vanished knowledge carry you farther than you could walk, higher than you could climb, deeper than you could imagine. The builders trusted that their work would endure. They carved, lifted, aligned, measured, and waited. And now, even without their presence, their work does endure. The temple is patient. It has waited for centuries. It will wait for centuries more. And in this waiting, it offers you peace. Sleep now. Let the temple's silence guide you. Let the weight of stone and the hush of air lull your mind. Imagine the builders watching stars, aligning their hands with the universe, leaving a record in stone that endures beyond memory. Close your eyes. Let your breath match the rhythm of this ancient place. Inhale calm, exhale rest. The temple of vanished knowledge stands eternal, silent, patient, waiting, and now it waits for you to rest within its shadow, to drift into dreams carried by centuries of quiet understanding, carried by the weight of stone, carried by the endless mystery of what was known and is now forgotten. Sleep. The underwater stone gateways of India. Beneath calm waters, where sunlight barely touches the riverbed, or the gentle waves lap quietly against stone, there exist gateways. Not gates made of wood or iron, not doors with hinges or locks, but vast, silent, carved from solid stone, standing in patience beneath the water. They are old, older than memory, older than the oldest stories, and they wait, unseen by most, hidden beneath the currents. Imagine approaching the water's edge. The surface shimmers in sunlight, rippling gently. You can hear the soft, rhythmic movement of water as it brushes against the banks, as it flows past stones and reeds. The air is warm, slightly humid, carrying a scent of earth and algae, of rain yet to fall. You gaze down, and beneath the surface, shapes begin to emerge. Straight lines, rectangles, curves that seem deliberate, shadows that refuse randomness. The gateways rise slowly from the riverbed, massive stones, cut with skill, arranged with intent. They stand in rows or alone, as if they were doors to another world, doors that humans once passed through, perhaps not in water, perhaps in times when the earth itself looked different. The scale is extraordinary. Blocks large enough to crush a man beneath their weight, carved with precision, edges aligned, surfaces smoothed. and yet no record remains of who made them, why, or when. Step closer. Imagine wading into the shallow water. The stone is cool beneath your hands. It is firm, solid, older than kingdoms, older than dynasties. Your fingers trace grooves, small, delicate, almost imperceptible, as if the builders cared not only for size, but for detail. Patterns repeat, echoing along the gateway, a rhythm you cannot fully understand, a silent language carved in stone. Pause. Breathe in slowly. Exhale. Let the quiet of the water surround you. Let it move through your thoughts like a gentle current. Imagine the builders, standing where you now stand. Only, the land may have been dry then. Perhaps the gateways were once a ceremonial path, a corridor between temples, a passageway for kings, priests, or travelers. They carved each stone, moved each block, with hands, levers, ropes, and patience. Their vision was greater than their strength, their knowledge hidden, now submerged beneath centuries of water. The water around you shifts. Tiny waves lap against the stones, creating soft echoes. Sunlight refracts, dancing across the carved surfaces. The lines seem to shift and change with the movement, revealing hidden angles, subtle shapes, patterns that appear and vanish with the light. You float your hand along the surface, feeling the solidity beneath, marveling at the craftsmanship. Now imagine the world above: villages, forests, mountains, people walking roads, tending fires, raising children, and below, hidden in silence, these gateways remain. They have watched the rise and fall of civilizations. They have felt floods and droughts. They have endured storms and earthquakes, and still, they remain patient, waiting, watching, holding their secrets beneath the water. Dive deeper in your imagination. Imagine slipping beneath the surface. The water cools your skin, embraces your body. The gateways rise above you, enormous, majestic. Shafts of sunlight pierce the water, illuminating carvings with a soft golden glow. Patterns repeat, interlocking, forming shapes you cannot fully name. Are they symbols? Are they guides? Are they part of a larger structure now lost to time? No one knows. Breathe slowly. Feel the water move with you. Let it hold you. Let it carry your mind along its currents. In this stillness, you notice something else. Tiny fish weave around the stones. Plants grow along the edges, roots wrapping carefully around the blocks. Life continues, adapting to the silence, as if recognizing the ancient presence beneath. Even in disappearance, even in submersion, these gateways exert influence, shaping the world around them. Imagine the hands that built them. Hands strong yet gentle, precise yet patient. They lifted stones, aligned them, carved each groove with tools now lost. They worked knowing they might never see the full scale of their creation. Perhaps they trusted the heavens to witness it. Perhaps they trusted the future to remember. And the future does remember, even if quietly beneath the waves. Time passes differently here. Centuries fold into one another. The water erodes slowly, reshaping edges, smoothing corners. Sediment drifts and settles, covering some parts, revealing others. Yet the intent remains, the design survives. The gateways are a record of knowledge, patient, silent, enduring, and you, here, are allowed to witness it, to feel it, to breathe with it. Imagine the rituals that may have taken place, priests or kings walking through these stone doors, pilgrims seeking blessings, travelers moving between lands, animals following alongside, ceremonial chants that echo across waters, now lost. Only the stones remain, only their alignment, their weight, their presence. The water around you is calm. Tiny ripples carry reflections of sky, trees, and clouds. The sun lowers, turning everything golden. The gateways reflect faintly, like a dream beneath the surface. You lie back, letting the water cradle your body. Your mind floats, drifting alongside the shapes, along the corridors of time, past and future blending. Every stone has a story, but it is silent. Every carving was made with intent, but the meaning is hidden. Every gateway is patient, enduring, watching, waiting, and now you rest with it, cradled in its presence, drifting along currents both of water and of time. Breathe in slowly, exhale gently. Let the whispers of vanished builders, the patience of stone, the flow of water, lull your thoughts. Let the mystery surround you. Let the quiet fill you. Let your mind drift deeper with each heartbeat, each wave, each breath. The underwater stone gateways of India endure, silent, hidden, waiting, patient, watching, holding secrets older than kings, older than temples, older than history itself. And now, in this quiet, you are allowed to join them, to rest, to float, to drift into dreams. Sleep. The forgotten roads of Bronze Age giants. There are paths in the world that no map shows. Paths that have vanished from memory, hidden beneath forests, buried beneath sand, or lost to the passage of rivers. These are not ordinary roads. They are massive, deliberate, carved and laid by hands far stronger, far more precise than what we imagine for their time. Some call them the forgotten roads of Bronze Age giants, and as you walk along them in your mind, the weight of centuries presses gently, like a soft hush, coaxing every thought into quiet. Imagine standing at the beginning of one. The air is cool and still. Perhaps mist drifts across the ground, curling around the bases of ancient stones that mark the road's edge. The path stretches before you, straight, unwavering, carved with precision, raised slightly above the surrounding earth. You notice the stones, massive, some as tall as a man, others longer than a small house, each placed carefully, fitted together with a skill we struggle to comprehend today. Step forward slowly. Each footstep echoes softly against the earth, against stone that has felt countless feet before yours, though no one now walks here. The path seems to hum with memory. Listen carefully. Hear the faint resonance beneath your feet, the whisper of long-dead builders, as if the earth itself remembers what it once bore. These roads are not for carts or carriages, at least not the ones we know. They were made for something greater, something stronger, something almost impossible. The stones are set with exacting angles, often in patterns that suggest purpose beyond simple travel. Straight lines stretch for kilometers, defying hills, rivers, and valleys. Turns are deliberate, sweeping gently, as though the road itself guides its travelers towards something unseen, perhaps sacred, perhaps essential. Pause. Inhale slowly. Exhale. Feel the calm of the ancient earth around you. Let it seep into your bones. Let the rhythm of these forgotten stones match the rhythm of your breath. Imagine the giants who laid them. Not literal giants, perhaps, but people of extraordinary strength, knowledge, and skill. They lifted massive blocks, hewed them from quarries far away, and aligned them with such precision that even today, the work seems almost impossible. Walk slowly along the road in your mind. Notice the patterns in the stones, some polished smooth, others roughened by centuries of weather. Notice the subtle channels carved to drain water, the gentle slopes that guide rivers around or beneath the pathway, the faint grooves that hint at movement, of carts or sleds, or perhaps something else entirely. These are not random, they are intentional, they are careful, they are deliberate. Look up. The sky stretches wide, and the sunlight casts long, soft shadows along the road. Each shadow traces the angles, highlighting the craftsmanship that has endured thousands of years. The stones are patient, they wait. They have watched seasons pass, empires rise and fall, trees grow and die, rivers carve valleys and shift their courses. Yet the road remains, unwavering, waiting to be remembered. Imagine the work involved. Thousands of men, perhaps, lifting stones, aligning them, shaping them with tools now long forgotten. Sweat drips, muscles strain, days turn to weeks, weeks to months. And yet, the labor is precise. Each stone fits perfectly with its neighbors. Each alignment holds a purpose now lost. Was it ritual? Was it commerce? Was it simply to prove skill? Or was there knowledge encoded in the very layout? A science we cannot yet read. Breathe slowly. Let the mist of memory surround you. Let the road guide your thoughts gently. Perhaps this road was once part of a network, connecting settlements, temples, or sacred sites. Perhaps it led to stone circles, megalithic structures, or hidden reservoirs. Every turn hints at intention. Every stone whispers a plan. And now, in the quiet of imagination, you follow it as it stretches endlessly, fading into forests, over hills, across plains. Feel the patience of the builders in your bones. Their effort was meticulous, deliberate, and tireless. You sense the care and the weight of the stones, in the precision of the angles, in the faint symmetry that appears when viewed from above. There is rhythm here, repetition, a quiet pattern that eases the mind. Let it lull you, let it cradle your thoughts, let it carry you along gently, softly, deeper into calm. Pause again, inhale slowly, exhale. The road stretches on. You walk and feel history beneath your feet. Centuries fold together. The world you know now is distant, replaced by a land alive with possibility, alive with builders whose names are lost. Their hands guided stone, their eyes measured distance, their minds imagined patterns we may never fully comprehend. Yet they left a mark, a trace, a presence that endures. The road turns. You see a small valley. Stones curve around a stream, rising slightly above the water's edge. Channels carved subtly guide the current without eroding the path. You feel the intelligence in this design, the harmony with nature. Builders understood balance, force, and weight. They respected the earth and used it wisely, creating not just a path, but a lasting system, both functional and precise. The sun lowers, casting long shadows that stretch across the stones, softening the edges. You pause to observe. Light shifts, highlighting grooves, subtle carvings, patterns you might have missed. Every detail is intentional. Every curve holds meaning. Perhaps this road led to a place of ceremony, a place of gathering, a place of remembrance. Perhaps it was a boundary, a marker, or a guide to something unseen. Let the calm wash over you. Feel the rhythm of the stones, the patience of the road, the whisper of the giants who made it. Walk slowly. Let your mind drift along the ancient path. Let each step be measured, slow, deliberate. Let your breath match the rhythm of the world around you, in harmony with the earth and the memory embedded in each stone. Time stretches. Centuries pass in an instant. Leaves fall, rivers rise, winds blow, yet the road endures. It holds secrets we cannot fully know. It bears witness to lives vanished, to hands that shaped stone, to minds that imagined vast projects beyond our comprehension. And as you walk, you feel the presence, the quiet power of this lost knowledge. Imagine lying down upon one of the smooth stones. Let your back sink into its firmness. Feel the coolness seep into your skin. Close your eyes and breathe. Inhale slowly, exhale gently. Let the road, the giants, the ancient patience lull your mind. Let each stone hold you. Let the memory of thousands of years drift over you. Let your thoughts dissolve in the quiet presence of these forgotten roads. The forgotten roads of Bronze Age giants endure. Silent, patient, waiting, watching. Their purpose lost, yet their presence eternal. And now, as you rest in imagination, the road carries you. Drift deeper, drift gently. Let the hum of history, the weight of stone, and the endless calm guide you into dreams, the pillars that move themselves. There is a place in the world where stone seems to breathe, where the earth itself has whispered secrets into the structures that rise from it. And there, in that quiet, exist pillars unlike any other, massive, silent, yet somehow alive in presence. They appear to have moved on their own, shifting slightly over centuries, as if guided by a force unseen, a memory of the earth itself. These are the pillars that move themselves, and as you imagine standing among them, your thoughts begin to soften, your body relaxes, and the world outside drifts further away. Step forward slowly in your mind, feel the ground beneath your feet, firm and cool. The pillars rise from the earth, each one carved with care, some adorned with subtle grooves, others polished smooth by centuries of wind, rain, and touch. Their weight is immense, yet they are not scattered randomly. They stand aligned in patterns that seem deliberate, impossible to achieve by mere chance. And yet, over time, some appear to have shifted, just slightly, just enough to hint at motion, to spark curiosity, to awaken awe. Breathe in, exhale slowly. Let the presence of the pillars fill your mind. Imagine the builders, centuries ago, carving stone, lifting, aligning, moving each pillar with skill, strength, and patience. They may have worked for days on one, weeks on another, yet they left no record of their methods, no account of why the pillars sometimes seem to have walked away from their original places. Their purpose is lost, yet their power endures. Notice the subtle changes in the ground. Stones beneath the pillars pressed into the earth, settling differently over time. Tiny cracks appear in alignment, as if the pillars themselves are alive to gravity, the seasons, and the passing years. Some legends suggest they moved during storms, swayed slightly with earthquakes, or shifted with the rhythm of celestial events. Whether true or imagined, the effect is mesmerizing. Step closer, trace a hand along the surface of a pillar. Feel the coolness, the solidity. Small ridges, barely perceptible, hint at carving methods now forgotten. You imagine the hands of those who worked here, the effort, the patience, the care. They lifted immense stones, maneuvered them with ropes, levers, and perhaps a knowledge we no longer possess. And yet the pillars themselves seem to have a will of their own, shifting imperceptibly, responding to time, to the wind, to unseen forces. Pause, listen. The air is still, yet full of whispers. Perhaps it is the sound of history itself, brushing against your consciousness. Perhaps it is the echo of builders, long gone, their intent preserved in stone. Feel the calm, let it sink into your body. Let your mind drift alongside the pillars, moving gently with them, aware of their slow, deliberate presence. Walk along the row of pillars in your imagination. Some stand perfectly upright, unyielding. Others lean just slightly, as if acknowledging the centuries. You notice faint markings on the stone, grooves aligned with celestial angles, perhaps designed to capture the light of sunrise or sunset, or the shifting shadows of the moon. The builders observed the skies, and the pillars, whether moved by hands or by some other means, remain aligned to the heavens in ways that continue to baffle modern scholars. Imagine the landscape around the pillars: rolling hills, quiet forests, soft winds brushing through tall grass. The pillars rise from the earth like sentinels, guarding something unseen, waiting in silence. You feel the calm of the surrounding nature, the gentle flow of time. Each breath matches the rhythm of the land, slow, steady, patient. Consider the mysteries these stones hold. How did they shift? Was it gradual, almost imperceptible? Was it guided by builders who understood forces we cannot? Or was it something else entirely, a hidden mechanism, a forgotten knowledge, or perhaps a force of nature now lost to memory? The truth remains elusive, and that elusiveness is part of the wonder. It allows your imagination to drift freely, to follow the gentle sway of ancient stone into deeper calm. The pillars are not merely stone, they are a testament, a reminder that human knowledge, effort, and curiosity can create structures that endure beyond time, that patience and intent can leave marks on the earth that outlast generations, that even in silence, the earth itself can seem to breathe, respond, and shift in ways we may never fully understand. Breathe again, slowly. Inhale the cool air around the stones. Exhale, letting the weight of centuries drift from your mind. Imagine lying back against one of the massive pillars, letting it support your body, letting it anchor your thoughts. Feel the subtle movements of the earth beneath, the quiet sway of time, the soft whisper of wind through stone. Let it lull your mind. Let it carry you gently toward calm, toward sleep. The pillars seem to shift slightly as you rest, almost imperceptibly. Perhaps it is the earth, perhaps it is legend, perhaps it is your imagination merging with theirs. The effect is the same, a deep sense of wonder, of peace, of timelessness. You feel small, and yet part of something immense, something enduring, something ancient. Step back in your imagination and take in the entire landscape. Rows of massive pillars stretching toward the horizon, some perfectly aligned, some slightly askew, all patient, all silent, all holding secrets we cannot read aloud. Imagine the builders standing among them, their eyes on the sky, their hands guiding stone, their knowledge preserved only in movement, in alignment, in the subtle shifts that we may only perceive through the whispers of history. Breathe, feel the calm, let the story of the pillars move through you. Let each stone, each shadow, each subtle shift lull your thoughts. Let your mind drift in time with the ancient presence beneath your hands. Each inhale carries knowledge, each exhale releases tension. Let yourself float in this quiet, serene landscape, carried gently by the patience of the pillars that move themselves. The pillars endure, silent, patient, watching, holding secrets of movement, of intention, of knowledge lost to time. And as you rest among them in your imagination, allow yourself to drift deeper, to float freely, to sink into the calm of centuries, to let sleep take you gently into its embrace. The desert stone keys. There are places in the desert where the sand shifts slowly, silently, as if guarding a secret, and within these endless dunes, scattered across miles of golden earth, lie stones unlike any ordinary rocks. These are the desert stone keys. Smooth, polished, sometimes shaped like rudimentary tools or symbols, sometimes massive blocks, resting quietly, holding meaning long forgotten. As you imagine walking among them, feel the warm air brushing against your skin, the soft crunch of sand beneath your feet, and the sun casting gentle shadows over the stones. Step closer. The stones vary in size and shape. Some small enough to cradle in your hand, others enormous, towering over you like silent sentinels. Their surfaces are not random. Many are carved with grooves, patterns, or channels that suggest purpose. Some align with the wind, some with the sun, some with distant horizons. They do not appear to have been placed carelessly. Every stone seems deliberate, intentional, as if part of a larger system now lost to memory. Breathe in slowly. Exhale. Let your mind adjust to the vastness, the quiet, the calm of the desert. Imagine the builders who once placed these keys. Were they giants, or just people with extraordinary vision and patience? Did they lift the massive stones with ropes and levers, with clever machines we will never find? Or was it a method now lost to time? Perhaps each stone was a marker, a guide, a signal, or a tool. Perhaps they opened pathways, indicated water sources, or served as alignments for celestial events. Walk along the path of stones in your imagination. Notice the spaces between them. Some line up perfectly, others form arcs, circles, or long straight avenues. The sun moves slowly across the sky, casting shadows that stretch and shift, revealing subtle patterns, hidden carvings, and angles only visible at certain times. The desert is patient, and the stones mirror that patience. They wait quietly, holding their secrets, allowing only those who observe carefully to perceive the order hidden within chaos. Imagine touching one of the larger stones. Cool beneath your fingers despite the desert heat, solid and enduring. Feel the grooves, the indentations, the faint polish where centuries of wind and sand have smoothed the surface. These are not merely rocks, they are objects of purpose, frozen in time. Perhaps they were keys to knowledge, tools for ritual, or markers of passage. The desert conceals their true intent, leaving only mystery for those who wander here now. Step back and observe the alignment. Some stones point toward distant peaks, others toward the rising or setting sun at certain times of the year. Some appear to track the moon or distant stars. There is a subtle harmony, a rhythm that emerges only when you let your mind slow down, when you breathe and observe, when you allow the quiet to reveal what casual eyes would miss. Pause. Inhale slowly. Exhale. The desert is vast, yet intimate. The stones are patient, holding their place, resisting erosion, surviving windstorms, sandstorms, and shifting dunes. Each one has a story, though silent, waiting to be understood. The builders, whoever they were, understood permanence. They understood balance. They understood the desert and how to work within its rhythm, leaving behind objects that endure beyond their time. Walk further along the line of keys. Imagine ancient travelers moving among them. Perhaps they were merchants, priests, or pilgrims. Perhaps the stones marked a path to water, or to hidden sanctuaries. Perhaps they were ceremonial, standing as markers for rituals we can no longer reconstruct. The scale, the alignment, and the precision all hint at knowledge we cannot fully grasp today. Breathe slowly. Let the gentle hum of the desert fill your mind. The sun warms your face. The sand slips softly beneath your feet. Shadows stretch and merge, creating patterns that seem alive. The stones, ancient and enduring, anchor your thoughts. They offer calm. They offer presence. They remind you of patience, endurance, and quiet persistence. Imagine the night falling. The desert sky opens, stars spilling like sand across the black velvet above. The stones are bathed in moonlight, their shadows long and soft. The air cools, the desert hums, and the keys seem to awaken under the celestial gaze. Perhaps they were always meant to be observed at night, perhaps aligned with stars long forgotten, perhaps tools for navigating not only the desert, but time itself. Touch a stone now in your imagination. Feel its smooth surface, the subtle carvings, the energy that seems to hum beneath your hand. Let your fingers trace the channels, following the rhythm and intent of the builders. Imagine the centuries of wind, the shifting sands, the quiet storms they have endured, and feel the calm strength that remains, patient and unwavering. The desert stone keys are not merely objects. They are remnants of a world that has faded, markers of knowledge that we cannot yet read, and symbols of human ingenuity and patience. They endure through the millennia, hidden beneath sand, waiting for someone to notice, to breathe, to feel their quiet presence. Let the calm wash over you. Feel the desert, the stones, and the patience of centuries cradle your mind. Every breath becomes slower. Every heartbeat matches the rhythm of the ancient path. Let the secrets of the desert stone keys guide your thoughts gently. Carry them across dunes, through time, into calm, into stillness, into the quiet of sleep. The keys remain, silent, patient, watching, holding knowledge older than memory, older than civilizations, older than the stories we tell. And now, in your mind, as you drift alongside them, allow yourself to be carried gently into dreams. The Valley of Rotating Stones. In a remote valley, hidden by mountains and mist, there exists a phenomenon that has puzzled explorers for centuries. Stones, some small, others immense, rest upon the earth in such a way that they appear to rotate, imperceptibly, silently, over years, decades, and perhaps centuries. This is the Valley of Rotating Stones, a place where time itself seems to breathe, where the earth and stone move together in quiet mystery. Imagine standing there, the air cool and still, the valley stretching endlessly, and the stones patient, deliberate, holding secrets beyond comprehension. Step slowly in your mind. Feel the soft earth beneath your feet, slightly uneven, shaped by centuries of wind and rain. Look around. Stones dot the valley floor. Some are perched on pedestals of rock, balanced so perfectly that they almost seem alive. Others lie scattered, yet subtly aligned. At first, they appear unmoving, fixed like any other rock. But look closely, and notice the slightest shift, perhaps a few millimeters, a tiny turn, almost imperceptible. And yet, it is real, persistent, a whisper of motion in the still valley. Breathe in slowly. Exhale. Let the calm of the valley fill your mind. Imagine the builders, if there were any, or the forces of nature that guided this subtle movement. Was it gravity? Was it erosion? Was it some ancient energy we no longer understand? Perhaps the stones were placed by a civilization that observed celestial rhythms, aligning them to the stars, the sun, or the flow of water. Or perhaps the earth itself has a memory, nudging the stones in quiet harmony with its pulse. Walk further into the valley. Notice how some stones are perfectly round, like wheels frozen in time, while others are angular, carved with faint grooves or lines. The sun moves slowly across the sky, casting long, gentle shadows. With each passing hour, the shadows stretch, and you begin to perceive patterns in the stone's subtle rotation. It is hypnotic, calming, a rhythm that seeps into your thoughts, slowing them, easing them, carrying you gently toward stillness. Imagine running a hand over the surface of one of the larger stones. Smooth, weathered, perhaps glistening faintly under sunlight. Feel the curves, the channels, the faint indentations left by wind and time. These stones have endured centuries, yet they move as if conscious, responding not to human touch, but to the quiet forces of the world. Perhaps each rotation is intentional, a message, a marker, a tool for observation or ceremony. Perhaps the valley itself is a clock, counting not hours, but centuries. Step back and take in the scene. Rows of stones stretch across the valley, some isolated, some clustered. You notice faint paths worn into the earth, gentle depressions indicating where travelers may have once walked. Imagine ancient observers moving between the stones, noting their positions, recording their movements, performing rituals now lost to history. Perhaps they understood forces we cannot see, aligning their lives to the subtle rhythm of the rotating stones. Breathe slowly. Let the gentle hum of the valley fill your mind. The stones, the earth, the wind, all carry a quiet energy. It is soothing, grounding, a reminder that time is vast, patient, and enduring. Let your thoughts drift, following the slow, almost imperceptible motion of the stones. Let your breath match the rhythm of the valley, long, calm, steady. Notice the interplay of light and shadow as the sun lowers. Stones cast elongated shapes across the valley floor, highlighting subtle grooves and patterns. Some stones align perfectly with distant peaks, while others trace the path of the river that winds gently through the valley. The movement of the stones, combined with the dance of shadows, creates a quiet, hypnotic rhythm that lulls the mind and body into deep relaxation. Imagine lying down in the soft grass of the valley. Let the earth cradle you. Let your back rest against one of the massive stones, feeling its cool, enduring presence. Close your eyes and breathe slowly. Inhale, exhale. Feel the valley, the stones, and the subtle rotation of history moving beneath and around you. Allow the quiet, gentle motion to lull your mind further, easing tension, softening thoughts, and inviting calm. Consider the mysteries these stones hold. Why do they rotate? What knowledge or purpose guided their placement? Were they markers, tools, or ceremonial instruments? Or were they simply aligned by the patient forces of nature? The answer is unknown, and that mystery is part of their allure. It allows your imagination to drift freely, to follow the gentle motion of stone through time, to sink into the serenity of the valley. The valley stretches endlessly. Stones continue to turn, slowly, imperceptibly. Some lean gently as if bowing. Others stand upright, proud and steadfast. The wind rustles through distant trees, carrying the soft sound of sand and stone shifting subtly beneath it. Each breath you take aligns with this rhythm, long and slow, steady and calm. As night falls, the stars emerge. The valley is bathed in silver light, and the stones seem to awaken in a new way. Shadows merge and shift. The rotations continue, subtle and deliberate, as if responding to the celestial dance above. The air grows cooler. The valley hums softly, a lullaby older than memory, guiding your mind toward rest. Touch a stone in your imagination. Feel its weight, its solidity, the subtle curves that hint at slow, deliberate movement. Allow the patience of the stones, the calm of the valley, and the quiet passage of centuries to settle in your mind. Let the gentle rotations carry your thoughts, your worries, your tension, away into the softness of night. The valley of rotating stones endures, silent, patient, holding secrets of time, energy, and intention lost to memory. And as you drift alongside them, walking, touching, observing in your mind, let the valley cradle you. Let the stones guide you gently into sleep, into dreams, into a calm that stretches across centuries, across stone, across time itself. The lost stairways to the sky. High in remote mountains, where clouds linger and winds whisper softly, there exist structures that defy understanding. Long, winding stairways carved from stone stretch upward, disappearing into the mist. They are called the Lost Stairways to the Sky, and they are more than just steps. They are a passage, a mystery, a bridge between earth and the heavens. Imagine standing at the base, looking up, feeling the cool mountain air, and watching as the stairways vanish into the clouds above. Step forward slowly in your mind. Feel the rough stone beneath your feet, worn smooth in places by the passage of countless centuries. Each step seems deliberate, precise, as if those who built them understood both the weight of stone and the importance of elevation. Some steps are uneven, small, and subtle. Others are wide, towering, and imposing. The stairways follow the contours of the mountain, climbing, twisting, and turning, as if following an invisible plan, an unseen hand guiding each block. Breathe in, exhale slowly. Let your mind sink into the quiet presence of the mountains. Listen to the wind, soft and constant, brushing against your ears. Imagine the builders, hands strong and steady, lifting stone, carving steps, measuring angles, ensuring each stairway led exactly where it was meant to. Who were they? Why did they climb so high? What purpose did these stairways serve? The answers are lost, yet the stone remains, patient, enduring, silent. Walk along the first flight of steps in your mind. Feel the slope, gentle in some places, steep in others. Notice the subtle grooves worn into the stone by time, wind, and perhaps human touch. Shadows shift slowly as the sun moves across the sky, highlighting patterns invisible at other times. Let each step guide your breath. Inhale, exhale, step, step. The rhythm is steady, calm, hypnotic, and relaxing. Some stairways end abruptly, leading to sheer drops, to cliffs, to nothing visible. Others continue around corners, through tunnels carved into the mountain, or along terraces that seem to float above the valley below. Each section is precise, deliberate, and perfectly aligned, as if the builders understood geometry, astronomy, and the flow of energy. The mystery deepens. Why climb so high? Why build with such care, in places so difficult to reach? Imagine your hands brushing against the stone, cool, smooth, yet rough in places, marked with centuries of weather, erosion, and perhaps deliberate design. Feel the weight of history in each groove. Let your fingers follow the lines of the stairway, tracing the curves, the angles, the careful placement of each stone. With each touch, imagine the energy of those who built it, the patience, the planning, the effort, and let that calm sink into you. Step back and look up. Mist curls around the stairways, obscuring their ends. The peaks above are hidden, yet the steps continue, stretching upward, reaching. You feel small yet part of something vast. The stairways invite you to ascend slowly, to let your mind drift along the path, to follow their rhythm and logic into deeper calm. Each step is a breath, each climb a meditation, each pause a moment to reflect, relax, and surrender to the silence. The stairways are aligned in ways that suggest knowledge of the stars, sun, and moon. Some lead toward the rising sun at solstice, others toward distant constellations. It is as if the builders intended the steps to be a guide, not just across the mountain, but through time, to connect earth with sky. Let your thoughts follow the subtle alignment, drifting, floating, feeling the gentle pull of ancient knowledge. Imagine the valley below, shrouded in mist. Listen to the soft rush of distant rivers, the murmur of hidden waterfalls. The stairways rise above it all, silent witnesses to centuries of wind, rain, and sun. Their presence is both calming and awe-inspiring. Step slowly, breathe deeply, inhale, exhale. Each movement of the mind along these stairs slows your heartbeat, softens your thoughts, and draws you gently toward rest. The higher you climb in imagination, the thinner the air becomes, the colder it feels. Each step demands focus, yet offers calm. Your body relaxes as your mind drifts. Perhaps these stairways were ceremonial, perhaps spiritual, perhaps practical. The answer is unknown, but their effect is clear, to invite reflection, patience, and serenity. As night approaches in your mind, imagine the moon rising behind the peaks. Shadows stretch along the steps, highlighting subtle carvings, patterns, and alignments. Stars reflect off the stone in a quiet sparkle. Each step seems alive with time, history, and energy. Walk slowly, step after step. Let your mind and body synchronize with the rhythm of the stairways. Imagine resting on one of the wider steps. The stone supports you, grounding you, connecting you to the mountain. The air is cool, clean, and calm. Your thoughts slow. The stairways stretch upward endlessly into the mist. Your imagination moves with them, following the rhythm, the curves, the patterns, the gentle incline, allowing your mind to drift and float. Stone circles that count time. Across wide fields and windswept plains, there are places where stones stand in perfect circles, not scattered, not random, but deliberate, each one chosen, shaped, and placed with care. They are called the stone circles that count time. Imagine walking toward them. The air is calm. The grass bends gently under a soft breeze. In the distance, the stones rise slowly into view. Some are small, some are tall, some are rough, some are smooth. Yet all of them stand together, bound by a design that feels older than memory itself. You step closer. The circle opens before you. Each stone has its place. Each stone has its shadow. And as the sun moves slowly across the sky, those shadows change. They stretch, they shorten, they merge, and they separate. The stones are not just markers. They are instruments. They measure the passing of time. Breathe in. Exhale slowly. Let the rhythm of time settle into your thoughts. The builders must have watched the sky for years, for generations. They noticed how the sun rose differently in summer than in winter. They noticed how the moon shifted, how the stars returned in cycles. They placed each stone to capture this rhythm, to carve time into the earth itself. And so, the circle is not just stone, it is memory, it is a clock, a calendar, a guide for those who lived by the cycles of the sky. Walk slowly around the circle in your mind. Notice how each stone seems to speak with the others. One aligns with sunrise on the longest day of the year. Another marks the setting sun on the shortest day. Some track the moon's rise. Others frame distant constellations. The stones are heavy, unmovable, and yet through them the builders made the heavens move across the earth. Imagine touching one of the taller stones, cool beneath your hand, worn smooth by rain and wind. This stone has seen thousands of dawns. It has felt the shadows grow and fade, year after year, century after century. It has held silence, patience, endurance. Breathe slowly. Let your fingers rest on the surface. Feel the weight of time itself pressing gently against you. Step back now and look at the entire circle. It is not broken. It is not chaotic. It is complete. A shape that repeats itself across cultures, across continents, across history. Circles appear again and again, in stone, in wood, in ritual. A circle has no beginning and no end. A circle is time itself. As the day passes, shadows shift. The circle transforms. What was hidden in morning becomes clear at midday. What was visible in the afternoon vanishes at dusk. The circle is alive, not in movement, but in reflection. The builders gave stone the ability to breathe with the sun. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine lying in the center of the circle, the sky open above you, the stones rising around you like guardians. The wind moves softly through the gaps. The grass whispers gently. Time itself flows slowly across the circle. Each breath you take matches its rhythm. Each exhale lengthens, softens, carries you deeper into calm. The night comes. The stars appear, one by one. The stones, once aligned with the sun, now point to the constellations above. The builders knew this too. The circle was not only for the day, but also for the night. It was a place to track the heavens, to connect the earth to the sky, to bring order to the vastness. Imagine the moon rising, casting pale light on the stones. Shadows fall long and thin across the circle. Each stone glows softly, silver against the dark. The circle breathes again, alive in moonlight. The builders must have stood here, watching, recording, remembering. They counted time, not in minutes or hours, but in seasons, cycles, and stars. Breathe in deeply, exhale slowly. Let the patience of the stones enter you. Centuries have passed. Civilizations have risen and fallen, yet the stones remain. They still count time. They still follow the sun, the moon, the stars. They are clocks that never stop, calendars that never fade. Silent, steady, eternal. Walk once more around the circle in your imagination. Notice how calm it feels. The stones do not rush. They do not falter. They simply endure, marking the rhythm of time, reminding us of the vast patience of the earth. Let that patience become yours. Slow your breath. Quiet your thoughts. Sink into the silence of the circle. The stone circles that count time, endure, silent, steady, watching the sky, holding the rhythm, guiding those who pause long enough to see. And now, as you rest in their presence, let their rhythm guide you into sleep. Slow, gentle, endless, like the circle itself. Gates of forgotten kings. The desert is quiet. The air is heavy with stillness. And there, rising from sand and stone, stand the gates of forgotten kings. They are tall, silent, massive beyond reason. 2 pillars of carved stone, weathered by wind and time, yet still standing, still watching. Imagine walking toward them. Your footsteps sink softly into the sand. The sun lowers in the distance, stretching long shadows across the earth. And as you draw closer, the gates seem to grow. Their presence is overwhelming. Not because of their decoration, though faint carvings can still be seen. Not because of their size alone, but because of the silence they hold. A silence older than memory. The builders are gone. The kings they honored have faded into myth. Their names lost. Their voices forgotten. Yet the gates remain. Breathe slowly. Let your body relax. Let the quiet weight of the gates settle into you. No one knows who carved them. No one knows why they were built. Perhaps they were entrances to palaces. Perhaps they marked sacred ground. Or perhaps they were never gates at all, but monuments to power, placed to remind all who approached of the strength of a king long vanished. Look closely in your mind's eye. See the carvings that cling faintly to the stone, shapes of animals, symbols of the sun and moon, lines that curve, lines that cross. They no longer tell a story we can understand, yet once, they must have meant everything. Close your eyes. Imagine a procession of people moving through these gates thousands of years ago. Priests, soldiers, merchants, kings, their voices echoing, their steps measured, their offerings carried high. Now there is only silence, only the wind, only you, standing in their shadow. Breathe deeply. Exhale slowly. Let the silence deepen. The gates are made of stone so large that even with today's machines, moving them would be a challenge. And yet, they were lifted, they were placed, they were carved, by hands we cannot see, by people whose names we do not know. How did they move such stone? How did they raise it? No one can say. The desert has swallowed their secrets, the sand has hidden their tools, only the gates remain, standing without explanation. The kings who once passed through them believed themselves eternal, but time proved otherwise. The gates outlived them. The gates outlived their palaces. The gates outlived their empires, and so the name endures, Gates of Forgotten Kings. Step slowly through them in your imagination. Feel the coolness of stone on either side. Listen for echoes, though none will come. There is only the sound of your breath, steady, calm, slow. Perhaps beyond the gates once stood cities. Perhaps beyond them once stood temples. Perhaps beyond them once stood nothing more than open desert. The truth has vanished, but the mystery remains. Breathe deeply again. Let your shoulders drop. Let your body sink deeper into rest. The gates are not simply stone. They are memory. They are patience carved into form. They are the last guardians of kings whose names the world no longer speaks. Imagine sitting at the base of one gate. The stone is cool, rough beneath your hand. Above you the carvings stretch high, fading into the sky. You lean back. You look upward. You feel very small. And in that smallness, there is peace. The gates have stood for thousands of years. They have felt storms, earthquakes, heat, and endless nights. They have not fallen. They have not moved. They endure. Let their endurance flow into you. Let it soften your mind. Let it quiet your heart. Night falls now in your imagination. The desert cools. The stars emerge one by one. The gates cast long shadows beneath the moonlight. They are silver now, glowing softly in the dark, silent, eternal, majestic. The kings are gone, but the gates still stand, still waiting, still watching. Some say gates like these are aligned with the stars, that at certain times of year, certain constellations rise perfectly between them. If true, then these are not just gates. They are calendars. They are maps of the sky. They are bridges between heaven and earth. Others believe the gates mark burial grounds of rulers, forgotten tombs now hidden beneath the sand. If so, then these gates are not entrances to cities, but entrances to silence, entrances to eternity. And still, no one knows. No one can say for certain. Breathe slowly. Exhale gently. Let your thoughts drift, as if carried on the wind that passes between the gates. Once more, imagine walking through them. On one side, the desert stretches behind you. On the other, the desert stretches ahead. But the feeling of passing through them lingers, as if you have crossed from one world into another. Perhaps that was their true purpose, not to guard a king, not to frame a palace, but to remind all who passed that they were entering sacred ground, that they were leaving behind the ordinary, that they were stepping into something greater. You stand still now. The air is calm. The stars above turn slowly. The gates stand tall and patient. And you are safe in their silence, safe in their presence, safe in their timelessness. The gates of forgotten kings endure. They do not speak. They do not move. They simply wait. And in their waiting, they remind us of time, of patience, of silence. Rest now. Let your breath slow to match their stillness. Let your body soften to match their calm. Let your thoughts drift like sand across the desert floor. The kings are forgotten, but the gates remain, and so too does peace. Sleep now. Sleep as the gates keep watch. Sleep as the stars pass overhead. Sleep as time drifts softly onward. The gates of forgotten kings are with you, and in their silence, you are safe.